Welcome back to United TV. Tonali bid 80 million supposed to be going in quite soon. There's a lot of solid updates regarding Mateus Fernandes as well, which we can cover. But this is a call-in show. If you want to get involved, the link is in the comments, and I'll just post it again. If you want to come on, have your say about anything Manchester United, the link is there and is available for everybody to come on, have their say. If you don't want to come on, there's no obligation. You can post questions and people on the stream can answer them, or I can answer them until people call in. I will have a guest host on quite soon, probably in the next 20 minutes, and he'll be available quite soon. So I will have another person on. But if people got some comments, questions, Danny B says, Fernandes is basically ours thanks to agent Bruno. I would say regarding this one that Mateus Fernandes, Man United are definitely in pole position. And there's a few factors there. Mateus Fernandes' agent is working overtime to try and get the best possible deal for West Ham himself. So, now, for me, this deal, I said this, I think Fernandes, that Irish Pit Terrier, Danny, I think the same sort of thing. I think Man United will get Mateus Fernandes. It's just going to be a matter of meeting the valuation that West Ham want. And West Ham are in no pressure to try and get the deal done rapidly. That's what I think. And welcome to the channel. Talib, hope you're having a good evening as well. If you're a Man United fan, please get any comments and questions in as well. We will have a few guests on this show. And again, so you're going to see who the host is. The host is someone you know very well. And the host is somebody that you know is a good guy who was hosting quite recently on the channel as well, Bilal. So, if you want to come in, have your say, welcome. Otherwise, you can wait. The host will be available in about 20 minutes. So we'll see in 20 minutes. But if people are able to share the stream, that'll be fantastic. And if you want to post some questions in as well and click the like, please do so as well. It's always going to help regarding and say, get Goldbridge on as a guest, says Alex. I think he might be a little bit busy, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. I don't actually know if he's streaming at this moment in time, but no idea whatsoever. Tab says, I've just watched some of new stuff from RB. He is such a great dribbler and creative from the left wing. Now, you're not the first person to say that, actually. I've had a few people saying they do rate him as well. I think in terms of this one, he's obviously a good player. I think Man United are also looking at, I think there's like Ryerson. There's quite a few people on the radar. I think at the moment, most of the people we've been focusing on the channel have been primarily midfielders, because it looks a bit like Man United are going to do these deals quite soon. I have been looking at information and trying to find out this one. Will our fan base be happy with an £80 million price tag for Mateus Fernandes? Well, I think this is the question where I know some fans will say it doesn't matter what it costs, you get the players in that you need. Obviously, some people will be a bit mindful of how much players are going to cost. To be honest, this is probably an individual thing. If Man United's paid 80 million for Mateus Fernandes, I think that, to be honest, you probably have to wait a bit and work out whether it's worth it for you personally. I think if Man United can get this deal done a bit cheaper, I think you want to get that deal done a little bit cheaper than that one for sure. But if Man United ends up spending then 80, which I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be 80 million pounds. I think we'll get a deal done for cheaper. And to be honest, I think that United fans will be very satisfied with the Mateus Fernandes deal if we get that deal done as well. So I don't think it's going to be 80 either. I think 80 was essentially a ridiculous price put out there by West Ham and the media. So if you believe that Mateus Fernandes is going to cost 80, then maybe we could actually say, like, was Tyler Dibbling 100 million? I don't think he was. I think he was significantly cheaper as well. So West Ham wanted 80. I was going to say 50. 80 for Kudos and got 50 plus 5. I think actually I could probably list that how many players we've seen that I want to see how much these players cost initially. Do you remember last probably September? £100 million for Semenyo was supposed to be the price. He went for, in the end, what was it, 65 million? And I think you could probably look at, who was the other, Mark Gay, he was supposed to be like 60 million, 50 million. In the end, he went for about 25, 30. So no, I'd say don't believe the price tag you first see. This is a bit like going to a car dealership and looking at the price tag. You can negotiate on everything these days. So everything. Welcome back to Mike. Good to see you in the chat. So good show as always. Welcome from Pretoria. Great to get you guys on board. I'm hoping that a few people will call in today. I know I have got a co-host in about 15 minutes, but if people want to come on before then, as I said, the link is available. This is the call-in show, so please share the stream if you can. I'm expecting a few people that will eventually come on. I think last time we did a call-in show, the first 10 or 15 minutes, people were a bit reluctant to call in, but no, come on, have a say. Jay says, what do you think of Edison getting called up to the Brazil squad for the World Cup? To be honest, I remember I read this about 30 minutes ago as well, and I think Edison getting the call up for the Brazil squad is really good news, isn't it, for Edison? I think a lot of people that were probably concerned that Man United signed a player that wasn't in the World Cup, and people were questioning this and saying like he's not even been called up to the World Cup. Again, it might have been a judgment call. I mean, Edison and Casemiro, are we going to see them on the same? Are we going to see them in the same midfield? Are we going to see them as the midfielders for Brazil? It would be interesting because a lot of people were quite negative about Edison and saying about him as a Casemiro replacement. We might see them both on the same pitch. So to be honest, I think that might be something to look forward to in the World Cup as well. So will the price of Edison increase because of his call up? I think it's already a done deal. I think the price has already been determined. I mean, he's played for Brazil before, so this is not something that's going to influence the cost. So no, I not at all. I did see a newspaper article saying that Manchester United, it's a blow in the Edison deal, and then you had the word injury in the title. But essentially, what they're saying is there's an injury to someone in the World Cup squad of Brazil. Edison's been called up. I think it might mean that it takes a little bit longer to finalise the deal. I'm assuming that Man United's the way we've done things. I'm assuming Man United's already got the medical done anyway. So I'd be thinking that this is like a done deal. So if we can get Fernandes, I can't see us getting anyone over 50 million as a third midfielder. If Fernandes costs us over 60, says Alex Ferguson. I would say I think you can still look at it in terms of if Edison's going to be roughly 35 million up front with some add-ons, and then you look at I don't know Mateus Fernandes costing probably like maybe 65 million, then I think there's still money to be. I think there's still money to be spent on midfield. I mean, no one knows 100%. There is potential, a little windfall in the kind of pipeline with. It looks like Mason Green was going to move clubs. That's going to be a bonus for Man United. That's going to be a bit more money coming in as well. So hopefully we're going to get a bit more money coming in from this one. So just another quick question, then I'm going to get Neil on. So he's done his medical already, I heard. So I'd assumed as well that usually the deal was here we go midweek. I think the medical was supposed to be done before this weekend anyway. So I think that's going to be a done deal. So I don't think there's going to be any sort of drama with Edison. That's a done deal anyway. So when's the market opening as well? Then I think the market is opening on the 15th. So we've still got another 8 days to go before the transfer window opens officially. So these deals are going to be looking like they're going to be wrapped up pretty quickly, hopefully. So looking at these as well, I'll go for a couple. Yeah, but please get your comments, questions in as well. Say 40 million a year left in his contract feels like a Mason Mount deal. He's going to be the difference between. I'll just say this quickly: the difference between Edison and Mason Mount is Edison has zero injury problems. Like Mason Mount has a massive injury issue as well. Then the contract for Edison is going to be about 75k a week, where Mason Mount was about 250k. So we're looking at a deal that's going to be so it's like mathematically. So it's like at least a third of his salary as well. And I think it's going to be closer to 35 million. So Mason Mount cost 60 million pounds. This is 35 million pounds. And Mason Mount was on 250k a week. This is going to be like 75k a week. So it's going to be a lot cheaper than Mason Mount. And this guy's not broken like Mason Mount either. So he should be playing plenty of football for Man United. And we'll see in the World Cup as well. Like Edison's going to be in the World Cup. We can see where he does. Ballon d'Or with an amazing strike tonight as well. Like really good finish as well. This is what's been speculated. I think we'll have to have confirmation of that. But in terms of like salary, it's supposed to be very, very cheap, like really cheap. So that's what I'm thinking. So let's get Neil on. And again, for people that want to come on, I will post a link in the chat. How you doing, Neil?
Yeah, all right. Thank you. You?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. We spoke a few days ago, and
Yeah,
you're
that's right.
transfer market. I was just hoping that we get something, something quite, you know, quite soon happening. I'll just say with Pulp that I don't think we've got confirmation of Edison's salary. It might mean that the Italian sources might be quoting it after tax, possibly, but it's still going to be quite cheap compared with like other players we signed.
Okay. It looks like we're going to have to get another goalkeeper because the bloke on loan from Bristol City don't want to come back, does he?
No, that's something that unfortunately I think Man United have got to negotiate with Vitek and basically try and convince him that. Do you think it's possible, Neil? Like if you go to Vitek and say, look, you can play in the Champions League, you got. I think that's surely got to be a bit of a carrot, a bit of an incentive to come back to Man United
No, I
for
don't
just
think
like,
it is because
yeah,
he wants to be a number one when he's not going to be a number one at United, is he?
no, it's not. He's not going to be number one at Man United because
Yeah,
unfortunately for
well,
him,
then I think he should move on. I don't want him to. Don't get me wrong. I hope he does come back and be our number two because Heaton has signed a 1 year extension, hasn't he?
yeah, that's true. That's
They
true.
reckon he's good
He's,
in the changing room, don't they, Tom Heaton?
he's
So
a
I
he's a good
believe.
kind of coach, and he's like I think he's good at kind of organizing like training stuff and things around that. So it's one of those off the pitch roles, really, isn't it? And I think Vitek wants first team football. What can you do if that's like kind of like what he demands? Then he's under contract, but Man United have to look at it and say maybe we can sell him. Maybe we sell him and then put a buyback clause or something like that. And I don't know what the best option is.
Danny in the comments, Irish Terrier. I put we should talk about the players we should sell. And he put in there, no one wants our players. I don't agree with that. Someone will buy some of our players. They're not all that bad. Yes, we got
Yes.
players who are average, but they're not shite, are they? Otherwise, they wouldn't be here.
You'll get someone like you'll get like Agate will go somewhere. It just won't be for massive money. And if you're looking at Xerxes will go somewhere as well. It's just not going to be for huge amounts of money.
I don't want
United,
Rashford back.
yeah. So I would love Vitek to stay, but he might be off. Would you be happy with that then? And saying that,
No, I want Vitic to stay, but I don't think he will. Like I said, he wants to be number one when he's not going to get it at our club. Understandable because he's been playing football. I know it's a league lower, but he's been playing first team football, hasn't he? So yeah, I think he will leave. But that's
yeah,
if they get
United.
the right offer for him, mind.
If we
Trouble
sell
is, if he
Vitek,
goes and
yeah,
the other one, whatever his name is, he goes, who do we get for a number two? That's the trouble. If he
and I
take
suppose with
leaves
this one,
and Bayern Bear
they've
leaves,
probably got people in mind.
well, yeah, I suppose he must have because you wouldn't sell someone if you haven't got a backup, would you? 'Cause that'd be
No, if you're
pointless.
selling Vitek, you're going to get decent money because he's a good goalkeeper anyway. So it could be like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can then spend that money on another. Man United were linked to I know like about 10 goalkeepers last summer. They were all about 25 million, 30 million for quite established goalkeepers. So I don't think you've got to spend loads.
You
Maybe
don't
what we
want
should do,
goalies. They never cost a lot of money, do they? When was
no,
what was the last highest goalkeeper really high someone
I don't
paid
know,
for
maybe
someone?
the goalkeeper at Chelsea actually cost a lot of money. I can't remember which one it was, but they spent a lot of money.
Oh, did they? Well, Chelsea just throw money at it, don't they?
What do you think of Tonali, Neil? Like he's the
80
one
million,
player that
no, too much.
maybe
Too much.
how
Tonali,
much would you go to?
70, no more. Between 60 and 70. I wouldn't pay 80. That's too much.
I think the problem is that all transfers seem to be costing more and more. So maybe I don't know. How much would you go for Fernandez?
Same. 60, 70. There is other
Yeah,
players we could get who are cheaper.
who would you rather get then? If you offered like 70 to Newcastle and Newcastle saying no, who'd you go for then? Because you got to.
Webb, Scott, Scott. I like him. Hackney, but they probably won't go for him.
I quite like James Garner at Everton. I don't know if he'd be possible.
Yeah, but I reckon you could get him, James Garner, for maybe 50.
Yeah, I was thinking if Everton are going to buy Hackney, which it looks like they might do, maybe there's a chance to get. Maybe there's a chance to then get. I know you could maybe get Garner. I don't know how much he's going to cost, but I think that you would probably cost a decent amount.
Would you like Danny Welbeck back? There was that talk about him coming back, wasn't there?
Yeah, to be honest, he was in an excellent form last season. If he's on a free, I'd be like okay with that. I think United need to get probably if we got a goalkeeper, if we got a striker on loan, I'd go for some experience. I think Benjamin Sesko is going to be Man United's goalkeeper for like the future. I would go for some experience as a loan deal if you're going to do something like
We
that.
do need another striker because if Senko gets injured, we've got no one really, have we? Because Brian Mbumbo is not a striker, is he?
Our backup striker is moving Mbuemo across. That's our backup striker. There's no one, is there?
No, so we do need another striker. Because sometimes some games you could play with two strikers, couldn't you? Change the format. You don't need to keep playing the same way all the time. You do need another backup, Rich. Who it is, I don't know.
I agree. I agree. But he's got a bit of experience, hasn't he? Like I suppose with Welbeck, it's like Premier League experience mainly, but he has been very prolific. So
trouble, he's getting old, isn't he? What's he, 35 now?
Yeah. Thing is, though, he's quite mobile, quite physical. Scored a lot of goals this season. I think he'd be a good. He's still got it, hasn't he? He would be quite good, but it would be. I think you need to get experience because of what you've got regarding this one.
Yeah. He's been praising Michael Carrick, hasn't he? So I say.
Yeah, no, he's.
I quite like he wants to come back. So, what I've read, I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah, do you disagree with Kate then? Kate says 80 million for Sandro Tonali. Let's get it done. And I'd say that based on, I think it's just how much players cost. Like Wirtz was 130, and if you're going to get inexperienced players, like if Mateus Fernandes, who's not played in the Champions League, and you're looking at someone like Sandro Tonali, he was captain of Milan, wasn't he, like a few years ago? So
yeah, he was, wasn't he?
It just feels like if you're going to get some experience, I think Man United do need some experience. How do you feel about Edison getting called up to the Brazil squad? Because we might be seeing him. We're going to see him in the World Cup. We might see what he can do.
Because I don't know much about him. All I know, he played for Inter Milan. That's it. He's Brazilian. I've never seen him clips or seen him plays. I don't really know much about it. So I don't watch a lot of foreign football. All I watch is the Premier League and that's it really. And Champions League. I don't watch a lot of Italian, German, French or whatever football.
So just watch Christian Eriksen collapse on the field.
He should retire.
Denmark versus Ukraine. So apparently he's back to conscious. Then obviously that's pretty worrying news. But hopefully
he should retire. Really, not worth putting your life at risk for playing football.
Hopefully it's Hopefully he's like going to be absolutely fine. But yeah, no, maybe it's time to retire now. I'm guessing he's not at the World Cup.
You're going to do any watch-alongs to the World Cup and not bother?
Yeah, we're going to do. We did one last night. We're going to try and do.
I didn't even bother to watch that. It's only friendly.
Yeah, we're practicing that with that one. Bilal says, question for Neil: what's the best goal you've seen live?
1983 Ray Wilkins FA Cup final.
Okay, I can't remember that. To be honest, I don't know that goal. I was going to say the best goal I've seen live. Best goal I've seen live was Berbatov's overhead versus Liverpool. It was probably the best goal I've seen live.
Yeah, Ray Wilkins scored a hell of a goal. No, they were in both games. There were some really good goals, and the 2-2 draw and the 4-0 win and replay. Because I went to both games. The replay was on a Friday night at Wembley, and United beat them easy. And I remember United fans, oh, Stevie Foster, what a different year made, because he was injured. He didn't play in the first game, but he played the replay, and he was, he was like a donkey. He was hopeless.
And Mickey says that for QPR, like, look, Ray Wilkins. Obviously, I don't know.
Yeah, he did play for them as well, near his end of his career. Having said that, when Ray Wilkins signed for United, it was Man United were away at Southampton, and we went to that game, and we walked past the hotel, and Ray Wilkins was in having his lunch with United players.
He's actually Ray Wilkins is supposed to be was supposed to be a really nice person off the football pitch as well.
Yeah, we tried to get into the hotel to get some autographs, and we got chucked. They chucked us out. And the players and Ron Atkinson saw us, but they came out to say come back, but we had gone because someone told us later on about that. We weren't going to hang around. We just got chucked out for no reason. All you wanted to just get a few autographs for the players. Yeah, nothing.
Would you be happy with this then? Like Kate says, 80 million for Tonali, and that would be, let's say, like 35 for Edison, 80 million for Tonali, then go to Bournemouth. He says a 40 million pound bid for Alex Scott. I think that's unlikely to be accepted, but he's not, looking at, say, if you got Sandro Tonali, Alex Scott, would you be happy with that as like a midfield?
Yeah, yeah. Rather than not going by another one, because then we got four midfielders. Because then you could rest two and play another two a different game. Because you can't play them all the time. I think we need four.
Okay, so who do you want then? Like, if you're looking at the midfield, we've got Co-Main already. You think 4 plus Mainus in total?
Yeah. So I would go and get Hackney as well. So
Yeah, the key would be maybe Man
and
United need to look at
and a
that. Maybe
full
that's
back
a
and
consideration.
Hall as a full back from Newcastle.
Yeah, I'll say with Cake. I think with Alex Scott, you're probably looking at a valuation of Bournemouth of 65. Man United think 50. I think it's going to be like 40 million pounds. I think might not be worth offering. You might have to go in like 45, 50 as a minimum for
I
that
reckon you
one.
could
But
get him for 50. I reckon Alex Scott. Like I
maybe.
said, his stepsister should tell him to come to United. She should United's women's team captain, Maya Letizia. That's his stepsister.
Do you think though, if like the menu cost 65,
Yeah.
surely, like, sorry, this one, and Danny agrees with you, saying, are you seeing like Mason Mount maybe getting loaned out as possibly opening the door for like another kind of signing?
Yeah. They reckon where did I read it somewhere? I know I don't believe why I read it somewhere that Mountain McCarty might go to Coventry because they need some players. I know what Coventry's manner likes Mount, doesn't he? So
Yeah, I saw that. I was thinking that I'm guessing that it's going to be. I think Mason Mount is one of these players that won't get sold.
yeah.
He'll just get loaned out somewhere, and it'll just we'll save the contract. That'll be it. I don't think we're going to be.
So Rich, if you was the manager or on the board, who would you sell?
Who would I sign?
No, sell.
Who would I sell? I'd sell Xerxes. I'd sell
Yeah.
Agate.
Yeah.
I'd move Mason Mount out if I could, but I don't think
Yeah.
we can sell him.
Yeah.
Who else would I sell? Uh, maybe that might that might be it for now. So I think we need to get a bigger squad. So I'd be selling Agate and Xerxes because I don't think they're good enough, and then I'd be bringing in a few midfielders. I'd be bringing in a left back, but I'd still keep Luke Shaw because I think Man United need to have cover, and
Yeah.
I'd be
What
bringing
left
in a
back
backup
would you like?
striker. I'd quite like to go for Lewis Hall, to be honest.
That's what I
Depending
want.
on the
That's what I want.
price.
Yeah, he's a good young
It feels a bit
player.
expensive, but I think it might be worth it because he's 21 years old. I think you could have him for like 10 years, possibly.
Yeah, he played in Premiership. British players or English players, whatever you want to call them, are expensive. That's the way it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know
Mr.
that.
Deadpool says sell Mount, get Tonali and Scott, and things get interesting. I think Mason Mount think he's too expensive to sell. Like it is going to be like Case Slater said, who would take Mount? Though there's actually a reasonable amount of people that would take Mason Mount, but again, it's a bit like the Rashford situation a year ago. You're going to be looking at potentially that teams that got promoted, there will be a reasonable amount of teams that would take Mason Mount, but they wouldn't pay a big transfer fee for this one.
Anyone going to buy Rashford, you reckon?
I think eventually he'll go somewhere. I think eventually he'll go to Barcelona, but it'll be maybe a cheaper deal, possibly.
Yeah, not 30 million. No, that ain't a bloody cheek, isn't it? They wouldn't like if we did that.
Man
To
United have to
them.
put some like clause in the contract or something. I think Mason Mount would go somewhere though. I think he would be like someone we could get rid of. Mike says he likes Yildiz from Juventus. I'll say this: Yildiz is a very, very good player. He would cost about 100 million. This is one player that Juventus want to tie down for a long time. So I think Yildiz feels like someone that I think when you look at Yildiz, you might be looking at a Bruno replacement, maybe like in the future. So I think he might be too expensive for Man United to consider at the moment. I know that few people might not be aware of Yildiz, but he's a very highly rated player by people that have watched him. So, any other points that you want to make, Neil? I'm going to get Bilal in a second. If there's anything else you want to say.
No, that's all. I'll just go in the comments. I'll see you in a minute. On the comments.
Cheers, Neil.
Cheers, mate.
Always good to chat to you. So again, there is a link in the chat. I will post it every sort of 5 minutes. If you want to come on, have your say on anything Man United. The focus is probably going to be transfer stuff at the moment, but anything's on the table at the moment. I'll just go through a couple of comments. Mason Mount and Tonali would be good in midfield, says Lumen. I think Mason Mount might be off, to be honest. Say congratulations to Edison going to the World Cup. Also with Ericsson, we wish him speedy recovery as well. Hopefully he's going to be absolutely fine. We'll have to see. It sounds like he is actually doing okay at the moment. But no, Edison is going to be one where I think this is going to be really good actually, because a lot of people that have not watched Edison play are going to be able to watch him play for Brazil now, probably alongside Casemiro. So we can compare how he looks there. And again, that's going to be something which I think is going to be good to see as well. It does go to show that he didn't make the Brazil squad, but he was pretty much like, it's a bit like some of the players that we've seen not make the England squad. Like he was very close to making it, just didn't quite get the call up. But yeah, not a problem at all. Now we're going to get Bilal on next, and I'll have to message someone that's supposed to be coming on, but not turned up so far. How are you doing, Bilal?
Hello, Rich. Hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm good. How are you feeling today? Obviously, I was hoping like a few days ago we could be talking about something happening, but it looks like Man United are pretty much not putting out anything in the media. So people are just kind of like filling the gaps with like speculation. But I'm guessing that we're going to put a bid in for Tonali or Fernandes, or maybe we're only going to hear when they've actually done that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to hear anything until the window opens now. But I like to congratulate Edison as well for getting in the squad. Who did he replace in the squad for Brazil? Does anyone know?
I can't remember. A player got injured. I can't remember who it was now. That somebody got
Was
injured.
it last night's game against Egypt? That's who they played, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was an injury in the game. Yeah. I don't know if it was an injury in the game or after the game. So I don't have. I just know he got a call up, and I saw that just before I kind of started the stream.
Yeah, it's good news for him. I would have preferred him not to go, to be honest. I wanted him to get to preseason and settle down. But yeah, it is what it is. Congratulations to him.
Cheers, Cody. He says Wesley got injured, and
okay.
so everyone knows apart from me. It seems I was trying to set this up, so I didn't. Yeah, Wesley got injured, so Wesley missing from the Brazil team, and it's good news for Edison, and maybe good news. I suppose it's considered a blow for Man United apparently, but the fact he's gone to the World Cup, I think, is good. Do you think it makes people now think that when they thought he wasn't in the World Cup squad, it just shows how close he was, and it was probably just a judgment call that he wasn't chosen?
I think it doesn't matter to people that write him off. To be fair, once someone writes a player off, like nothing changes their mind. I don't think. But yeah, I think he's a good. I think he'd be a good squad option. Better than Ugarte. Much better than Ugarte.
I think people will be surprised. That's what I'm going to say. That Jules, who is regularly hosting like on a Monday night.
Yeah,
He's quite a big fan of Edison, and he was talking about Edison a couple of years ago when we were first kind of like linked to him like a while ago, and he hasn't really changed his mind. So he's happy with the signing. I'm kind
yeah,
of
that's good.
open-minded. I don't mind. I don't know what to expect from Edison because if someone tells me they're great in Serie A, I don't know because the Premier League's different, isn't it? So I'm
It
not
is
sure.
different, but yeah, I'm willing to give him a chance. Like, I've not seen too much of him, but the things I've seen, I'd be happy if he's a first squad rotation player. But yeah, yeah,
He might well.
yeah,
A lot of people say that he's very strong, physical. He's doesn't get injured. I think this could be like a sensible squad signing. Like again, we have to see how he. Like Yardi says, he thinks he's going to start a lot more games than other people think. Maybe that's the
okay.
case, and we'll have to see.
So we'll see. Yeah,
What do you how did you feel about Tonali? That I know a few people are like absolutely really happy. A lot of people question the price. I think. Do you remember the first time we heard the story from? I think it was an Italian newspaper a couple of weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago now, maybe, where it said Edison and Tonali are done deals effectively, and that they've agreed terms. And then things went a bit quiet. And then we pretty much got Edison done. I think there's definitely something in the Tonali situation. Whether we buy him or not, I think we'll definitely make an offer.
do you think it's going to be 80 million?
I don't know. Shall I tell you a couple of things I read this evening? I don't know if they're
Sure.
true, but it shows what's been put out there. One of them was an interview with Tonali, where Tonali said it was his dream to play for AC Milan. It was his mum's dream for him to play for Man United. I don't know if that's true. And there's apparently another source that's been put out. Again, these are kind of like not necessarily credible, but this just shows what people are saying. One is that Tonali wants to leave. He doesn't want to kick up a fuss. He doesn't want an Isak situation, but he does want Newcastle to accept an offer if it comes in of a reasonable amount. So I think if Man United are looking at getting a deal for 70, what they're kind of saying is if Man United make that offer, obviously Tonali wants to leave the club, so he wants that offer accepted. But I think Newcastle are going to hold that for more. So I'm wondering whether there's going to be like peace and quiet from Tonali's side. But if Newcastle dig their heels in, I don't know. This feels a bit like it's not going to happen that quickly. That's kind of my
Well,
guess.
if they're demanding 80 million, you should walk away right now, I think.
Yeah, Charlie says Newcastle said players can leave if they want to, but that's quite different from actually lowering the price, isn't it? So it's one thing like with Newcastle, they'll let players go, but that's the same as like I don't think that's different to normal because if Man United wanted to get a Newcastle player any other season and they offered loads of money, then of course they're going to let them go, aren't they? They're going to make a nice big profit. So
Yeah.
I don't know how much would you go up to for Tonali? Because I think that a lot of people that look at Tonali, then he could be better in a different team. But
I wouldn't go over 70 million. I think, yeah, that would be my final offer. If they're still demanding 80, I'd walk away right now. I don't want the transfer saga that us being, and then at the end, us paying what they asked for.
what would you do then regarding Mateus Fernandes? Like, do you think Man United are looking to try and buy both those players, or like people are guessing a bit? So I'm not going to say Man United are trying to play deals off against each other. I don't think they'd actually be trying to do that because I don't think that would work. But do you think that Man United would be interested in buying both Tonali and Mateus Fernandes?
I think the club are interested in both, but I don't think we'll be able to afford both if they're demanding high money. Uh, out of the two, I'd prefer to go for Fernandez myself.
Do you remember that when I was talking to Philip from Toon Tactics TV, he was telling me he saw a young Bruno Guimaraes in Matheus Fernandes. He was really positive about him, and actually he was very positive about Alex Scott as well. He thinks Alex Scott's an excellent player. So I think there's a lot of good options. Cake is the most positive person I've seen about Tonali. We need like Cake. You should come on. Like you should come on.
First time ever.
Tonali. I'll just bring in my co-host. That's obviously
Okay.
didn't join at the start. So you know,
Wolfie.
G-Wolf.
Yeah.
G-Wolf looks like he's in like very dark G-Wolf today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in a very dark place.
Well, you can't afford
Literally.
lighting, it seems.
No, unfortunately, I can't. How is everyone?
All good. So just a quick question like Tonali. Cake says 80 million is an absolute bargain.
No, come
don't
on.
think
We
it
can get him
is.
cheaper. We can get him cheaper than that, surely.
I would not pay 80 million for him.
I
I think we've
wouldn't
got to
pay.
pay. I'd be. I think 70 is the minimum. Like I don't think Newcastle are going to be accepting like anything lower than.
Yeah.
Even 70 feels like a stretch, to be honest.
It is, but it's not as bad as 80.
You forget they got 70 million pounds for Gordon.
They did, yeah. But how much of that do you get left behind? Like, do you have to pay agent fees and stuff like that? How much would of that 70 million do they have now?
So Cody says 80 million is overpaying.
It is.
To be
100%.
honest, what's difficult is that the 80 million might seem like overpaying. If he comes to Man United and looks amazing, then people will change their mind. It's like saying that a 50 million pound player could be too much if he plays poorly. So I don't know. I think with Tonali, it depends how much. It's a lot of money, isn't it? So it kind of has to work out very well for it to be. Yeah, we need to get Cake on here to get his say because he's got a completely different view to G Wolf. It'd be quite an interesting one.
We do need to get him on.
80 million for a declining player who's only good at spraying balls around. Do you think is Tonali like declining? I don't know.
He's not declining, I don't think. He's in his prime right now, I think.
Dear me. Tell you what, people need to.
The thing is, though, I just saw this like case later. It's actually not dark though. Like I could go with daylight. G-Wolf's like in a cupboard or something.
Oh my lord! Do you know what? I'll be right back, and I'll get it sorted. I'll get that dark one sorted because of
Okay.
It's supposed to be a bit lighter than what it's supposed to be but it's not.
I think it's light. It's just the background that's black, but it's light.
Literally, I can sort out.
Andy says Van Hecker might be over 80 million pounds. How much have Spurs bid for Van Hecker? Because that's going to be. I think you shouldn't buy players from Brighton.
What people want the heckler?
No. This is. I think what might be happening here is that Spurs are looking to get a player in. Maybe that means Van der Ven's going to move out. Maybe that means Man United might be linked to him again. That's what I'm thinking.
I would not have Van der Ven. He's too injury prone. I'm sick of injury prone defenders.
Yeah, I'm not big on Van der Ven. I think he's to be honest. When I watched Van der Ven, maybe it's unlucky. When I watched him a bit, he's making mistakes, and he's quite good going forward. But I was just thinking, I'm not sure that they were talking about a lot of money, and yeah, tricky. So how much Belieber going for, says JSN? So I think Belieber apparently is like his value is like plummeting if you believe social media. I have no idea how much Brighton would accept for him now. I don't know. So I'm not sure. Any other news that's interested you, Bilal, in like transfer stuff? Anything you think is going to happen this window, or things you want to see happening?
I think we should sign a left back. I'd go for Hall.
If Newcastle want crazy money, would you pay it with Hall, or would you go, okay, let's or go for a backup option?
What did he say?
I'll ask G-Wolf then. If Lewis Hall's insane money, do you pay the money or do you walk away? We're talking like 70 million pounds or something.
What for For Lewis Hall,
Yeah.
I'd definitely pay 70. I would definitely pay around about 60
So if
to
they say
65 million
70,
for it. If they
what do
say
you do?
70, then
I think if we get the midfield done and he's the last player, and we've got 70 million left and they're asking for it, I'd pay it.
you pay it.
Yeah,
He's a lot better. He's a lot better than Tonali. Well, two different positions, but I'll definitely take the. I'll definitely go in for Lewis Hall. If it was 70 million, I would say right 60 million plus 10. I wouldn't pay the full 70 up front.
So Kate says, what's not to like about Tonali? Great range of passing, brilliant engine, run all day, carry the ball from midfield, be making third man runs, a very dynamic player. And Kate, you should come on as a guest. Like you should click the link, come on, have your say about Tonali. That's what I'm saying. Because like I can read your comment out, but you're not going to convince some people. They have a different idea. Any final thoughts on Tonali, Bilal? I got the link and get something else on.
I like Tonali, but I just wouldn't pay 80 million for him. I think it's too much.
What about say 60 million plus 10 for Tonali? Would you do it?
Yeah, definitely. I'd pay 70 million, yeah.
But it's just the way that you would go about it, I take it.
Yeah.
Hall, 70 million, no, says Neil. Lewis Hall, how many good seasons, says Stephanie.
He's only 21 years old.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. You're paying for a bit of you're paying for longevity as well, aren't you? That you're looking at that one as well. So it is difficult when you go for younger players. You are just looking at the options as well. You think I've not even mentioned, so I don't know why you would suggest that. I have not even mentioned that player. How about Balde? Balde's got some injury issues. I think is maybe a reason as well. But no, if Barcelona are looking to move him on, I'd be very, very suspicious of them as well. Andy says maybe like it's got to be better out there than Hall for the money. But if you start looking at crazy money, then there's a few options that you could look at as well that might be a bit cheaper. I think United need to be mindful that if Newcastle ask for too much money, you've got to look at potentially better deals than that one as well. There's going to be options out there.
I just really like Hall. I like what he does. He's attacking ball carrier, gets in brilliant positions, and he reminds me of a very, very young Luke Shaw. And then look how. Don't you think? Don't you think he looks like a very young Luke Shaw?
Just hope he's not as injury prone as Luke Shaw.
Yeah, I don't think he is. Yeah, hasn't been that. I don't think there's been that many injuries.
I think he's better than Shaw at his age.
Yeah, he's a little bit better than I will agree with that. He is better than Luke Shaw at his age, but I'm just talking about the physicality of the lad. The
way aesthetically, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I meant. I wasn't talking about I think he's a lot better than Luke Shaw than what we've got.
Who says? Joaquin says, who's that?
Who?
Danny was mentioning him in the chat. SEYS, that's how you spell it.
Yeah, no idea.
I don't know who that is. I've never seen the guy.
But Bilal, thanks for joining tonight.
Thanks for that, Rich.
But hopefully we can do regular calling show midweek if there's demand for it. But hopefully it depends on how many people we can get to come on. But
yeah, I don't think we'll have time for calling shows now. The World Cup's starting soon.
If the World Cup's in the middle of the night, then I think we can do one at sensible times when we're actually awake or when normal people are awake.
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
People, who's normal?
Well, I would say if you're awake at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., that's probably not typical of an average YouTube viewer in the UK. I'm just going to say that's as an average.
Yeah, especially if you're not working at that time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Big up to you, Bilal. Thanks for getting involved.
Thank you, Rich. Thanks, G-Wolf. Bye.
See you later, dude. Take it easy.
So I'll put the link back in the chat. If anyone wants to come on, as always, then yeah, maybe we'll get something. I did say to Howard I'd give a bit of a recap, but I'm trying to remember what I said for the last first 30 minutes. I mean, just to summarize, do a stream at 5 a.m. To be honest, okay, there may well be a stream at 5 a.m., but you're probably going to be looking at the person on the right in front of you on the screen because they'll probably be asleep. we might be able to offer some borderline crazy World Cup coverage based on our different sleeping patterns of myself and my co-host tonight, put it that way, as well. So, I'll also say a bit of things we covered before were that
I am indeed.
We're looking at Edison deal. Edison's going to represent Brazil in the World Cup now, so great for him. Also, what do you think about some of the stories? So Howard says he's at work at 5 a.m., so he's going to be there to listen in. So we've got some viewers at 5 a.m. There's obviously a demand for 5 a.m. streams, so we will try and meet that demand if possible.
Hopefully with the World Cup.
Cam35 says, why is Tonali still in our thinking when Anderson is the one? And said Anderson had a good game yesterday. I suppose the difference is going to be, will Elliot Anderson want to join Man United? And will Tonali want to join Man United? Like Tonali has apparently said that he would be interested in joining United. I'm not sure about Anderson. What do you think, G-Wolf? Like, obviously, if you're going to pick your favourite players, they have to want to join your club, don't they?
Exactly. Like, we want people that want to play for a club. Like literally, like we've done it before. We bought players, and you could quite clearly see that they only came for one thing: the money. But we need now we need proper players who wants to come and play for a club. So if Anderson, as much as I love Anderson, I think Anderson is an absolute massive player that could bolster us. But if he doesn't want to join us, then I don't want him. Simple as. Like literally,
there's not much you can do if a player wants to join a different club. There's nothing. Literally, you're just wasting your time, aren't you? So again, I don't know if Anderson 100% chooses a Man City, but I think Man United will be aware of that as well. I'd say to Luca in the chat, like Luca, I know you watch Italy. I know you're a big fan of Tonali. If you want to come on, the link's there. Come and have a say what you think regarding Tonali as well.
I don't think I don't know. I think Anderson hasn't Tonali said that he wouldn't mind joining Man United if we went in for him.
Anderson, I don't know. I think
no. Tonali. I was talking about Tonali.
Yeah, I think Tonali's primary. Like Tonali wants Champions League football, and he wants to join a team that's not. He effectively wants to leave Newcastle. Champions League football would get the deal done. I think he might have a preference to. He might have like some hopes of going to Italy, but no Italian team can afford him. So I don't think it's going to be an issue, really, to be honest.
I don't think Tonali is that much of a gamble. Old Mickey. I think.
Do you think it's going to be like? Do you think in terms of this one, like, would you pay more for someone like Tonali or someone like Mateus Fernandes? Like Mateus Fernandes is younger. You got a lot of promise there. He's a top quality player. I think Tonali got a bit more experience, but you'd probably have to pay him more in salary. So it might be that it's actually quite an expensive deal.
Yeah, but most deals are quite expensive. So, say the truth. So, for me personally, I would. Right, if Tonali said that I want to join, then literally, as long as he wants to come and join Man United, take him. Because I just think with Tonali, he's a much better player than Fernandes. I think he's a lot better. The way Tonali is, he's a lot developed player, as you said. And is his weight? How much is he on at Newcastle? What, 175? Is that really going to be much?
I think he'd get paid more, wouldn't he? Anderson would probably wanted a big salary as well. But Tonali, no doubt, he's going to get a bigger salary than a 21-year-old. Like, I think
Well, yeah,
Mateus
of course.
Fernandes would be like something like Koeman's sort of contract. So we could be seeing that sort of deal, which I don't mind. I think that's a sensible price, to be honest.
I'd rather, me personally, I would rather take Anderson. But if Anderson doesn't want to come to United, then there's no point pursuing that. There's no point keep on pursuing that that player, because of, like, look what happened. We got burnt a few times. Every time that we want a player and he'd say, "Oh, I don't know if I want to come. I don't think I want to come. I want to stay at the club." Like, the amount of times that we went after players like, Snyder,
Yeah.
like, when we went after Snyder for ages,
Frankie
he
de
never
Jong, like,
came.
you're wasting your time, aren't you?
Exactly.
If
It's like
Anderson doesn't
banging your head
indicate-
against a brick wall. If a player doesn't want to come, don't keep on persisting with that player, because of, at the end of the day, like, we missed out on other targets as well, which we could have done before, but because we kept on pursuing with that one specific player all the way through the summer transfer window, all of a sudden, then people are saying, we're panic buying. Look, we got Casemiro, we're panic buying. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we've got to stop doing that and stop going after players that don't want to join our club. Simple.
The question I've got, though, is if you're looking at Anderson and he doesn't want to join Man United, then you have to move on, don't you? And you have to pick a different target. So if Manchester United look at it and say, right, Anderson has not indicated he wants to join Man United, there's indications that maybe wants to join City, I think you just have to look at it and say, we need to move on and pick a different target. That there's no problem.
Exactly.
I can make a list of players I want, and if we go and approach them and they don't want to come to Man United, it's not an indication of, like, the club not doing well, because these players you can't go and force them. You can't. If Anderson wants to say, if he wants to join a different club, offering him more money isn't going to change the fact that you can't get. You can't go to that route and look at trying to, like, maybe overpay or overbid on players to try and force them to come in. So
Exactly.
for me, it's different. Like, you have to look at what the player wants to start with.
That's it. It's like, how long did we go after Gyökeres? And then,
I don't think we seriously, like, there was a lot of media spin about that one, but Man United didn't really put in an official bid for Gyökeres because he wasn't interested.
But there was lots of it, though, weren't there? There was lots of media.
There's lots of hype, wasn't there? There's lots of things coming out from the Portuguese media, but Man United knew that Gyökeres wasn't interested. He wanted Champions League football, so it wasn't really much of a point.
It does seem like that every stream that we did with the Gyökeres, it was like every day something about Gyökeres. Something like, literally, oh, is he going to join Man United? He wants to join up with Amorim. He wants to be with Amorim. He likes Amorim. He's given him a chance and all that lot. Like, literally, it looked like that. We were always persisting with Gyökeres, and then at the last minute we go and get Sesko.
Do you agree with Howard? Howard says Anderson wants City's money. He's not about the badge. We need to get players who want to play for us. Say Tonali does, and Mateus Fernandes does. Maybe with Mateus Fernandes, maybe he wants to play with Bruno Fernandes. So that could be a factor, isn't it? And whatever the reason is, I don't really care what the reason is. If Mateus Fernandes wants to join Man United, I think he's a very good signing. And Marp says this is kind of like players he likes: Ederson, Fernandes, Tchouaméni. Again, I think Tchouaméni feels like the most impossible deal to do. Like, too many wants to stay at Real Madrid. So
the only thing is, I don't think that Tchouaméni is that much of a hard deal to do. It's what, because of has Tchouaméni actually come out and said, I want to stay at Real Madrid?
Yeah,
I don't think he has he?
I think he has. I think he's indicated he wants to stay at the club, and Real Madrid have indicated they want him to stay at the club.
But the only thing is, if he thinks that he can get a better deal at Man United than at Real Madrid, then surely he'll come to us.
Do you think
the only thing is, it's whether he will come out and say, I want to play for Man United.
Do you think that Tchouaméni would get a better deal at Man United? then
I
this is
do.
what he gets. At Real Madrid, he gets 200k base salary. Okay, then he's going to get a 50k a week bonus for in the Champions League. So that's 250 to start with, and he's looking to negotiate a new contract. So you're probably looking at 300 plus for
But the only thing is, hold on, that's with every single player though. They will get a bonus of some sort.
Yeah, but do you think Man
So
United would pay more?
or if Man United say, right, okay, look, 225 is your base salary, plus we'll give you 75 in bonuses, like if you create, like with the assist salary and all of that lot, I bet you he'll come. He would say, right, do you know what? Yeah, that's a good deal. I like that deal. Right, let's go over to Man United.
I don't think too many leaves. You're talking about the same sort of money. And
I still think, I think that he will. I think he will come. But the only thing is, he's got to come out and openly say that I want to join Man United.
I think he might cost even
because
more
of
than because
of literally as I say, Mourinho had said, right, that if players don't want to be at the club, and also two, if people are going to cause problem, then he doesn't want them at the club either. So if Tchouaméni and Valverde's don't get that, sort out their shit, then one of them is leaving. Now, if Valverde apologizes but Tchouaméni doesn't, Tchouaméni might be
that's already sorted out though. That's got sorted out weeks ago. So I think with this one,
no, the owners helped sort it out. But if the players are still bickering over it, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
No, but I think it's still unrealistic to say, like, what percentage chance do you think Tchouaméni is a Man United player?
I would say 25%. It's quite low that he will ever come to join Man United. But to tell the truth, anything can happen within a couple of days or after the World Cup.
Yeah, I was thinking in terms of Man United's budget that Tchouaméni, he would be the most expensive player we could buy. If you look at the salary, you look at the transfer fee. I know people think Anderson would cost more. I think Tchouaméni would cost a bit more than quoted. Maybe Anderson a bit cheaper.
I don't think so. I think Anderson will be the expensive deal.
How much do you think Anderson will get paid though? I think Tchouaméni's salary would be.
I think his salary, Anderson's salary, would be a lot cheaper, but I think they're sort of different type of players. They're different midfielders, and tell you the truth, I think if we can get, I would love if we could get both of them, but that ain't gonna happen. Man United are not. That literally their ceiling ain't high enough at the moment. At the moment, their ceiling is to try and get Mateus Fernandes and getting Tonali in. That's how high their ceiling is.
Ivan Toney, is he worth a shout? Says End the Madness. What do you think?
No way.
Let's have a look what he's been doing recently.
I saw him against England. He had he had one shot and it went well wide, and with a bit more composure, anyone could have. My grandmother could have scored that.
I would say that, but based on Tony's 30 years old, then say the last season he was at Brentford. Last full season at Brentford, he got 21 goals. He's been in the Saudi Pro League, so it's difficult to judge. But he's got 42 goals this season in the Saudi Pro League, which again, I think he's barely played for England. So recently, only one game this year, one game last year. I don't know. Tony's only 30. I think he was a really good player in the Premier League before he left, and he's only 28 then. I don't know. He's a good player.
He's a good player, but I think we shouldn't go and get him.
So Tony didn't look good yesterday. I don't think many players looked great in yesterday's match, but I know I take your point. He didn't look
There was a
good.
couple of decent performances, I thought, yesterday from England, but to tell you the truth, they need to proper step it up against Costa Rica, and also when we play Croatia.
And the madness is like saying that the Tony and Bremo was a brilliant like partnership in terms of like front. I mean, there's a few positives. He would be quite expensive though. Again, I don't know what he's done in the Saudi Pro League, but he's banged in a shitload of goals. But who doesn't in that league? So I don't know. I think
Exactly.
it's one that would seem a bit risky. Or I think he's on a massive salary, so whether they want him or not, I don't know at all. Good question, actually. If Tonali was not going to stay at Real Madrid, then I would imagine that there would be other clubs interested for sure. There'd be a not. I'm not saying a queue, but there would be a lot of clubs interested if Tonali was available. He is a very good player.
He is, and yeah, exactly. But then he will have to choose what club he wants to join. You never know. He might just say, "Look, I'll come and join United," or tell you the truth, if it ain't United, then it's City. I don't see him going to anywhere else. Might go to PSG might go for him, but I think he would want to come to the Premier League.
Yeah, United I said percentage chance of signing Tonali is like 1%. I gave it 2%. I was like slight, but I think it feels like it's never going to happen. So I haven't been talking about it, to be honest. Howard's got a question saying, how much would it cost for Tonali, Edison, and Fernandes? I say total cost for all three. Well, Edison's going to cost 35 up front. I'm guessing that I don't know. My guess for probably Fernandes, like, what do you reckon? 65, like maybe, which should be.
I already told you what I thought on the those three, that if we were getting to get them in.
If you look at the media, then they're not going to get 80 million pounds for Fernandes, are they? I think Man United not going to get a cheap deal done. So I'm guessing like 60, 65. So that would be 100 for those two players. And Tonali, do you reckon like what's the cheapest deal you get? 75, 80? Then that would be 180 million for three players.
I think for the whole lot, we should be able to get them. We should be able to get them for around about 150, 165.
Okay, so how much do you reckon we could get Tonali for?
So Tonali, I think that we can get him between 65, 70. Fernandes, literally, it should be 50 at least. That's the not at least, the most that we should pay for Tonali.
50?
For 50 for Mateus Fernandes. At most.
Cake says that Bruno Fernandes, Mainu, Edison, Tonali, and Alex Scott. So that's a good midfield. And we haven't mentioned Alex Scott. Alex Scott would probably be closer to 50, I think, than Mateus Fernandes. Cody says he's going to go for meet in the middle. So he says like 40 million pounds plus 80, 120 for those two. I guess you're adding like so that's what, 80 million. So which one's that one? Like, which one is meet in the middle at 40 million? Which one's 80 million? Are you talking about Mateus Fernandes? So he's Cody's saying like 60 million for Mateus Fernandes. I don't think you can get Tonali for cheaper than Gordon. Like Alex Gordon causes a problem. Like, the fact he's gone for 70 million pounds, I don't think we can get him cheaper than him.
I do.
Well, you think Tonali's a worse player than Gordon?
No, because of Tonali wants out. And when you say that I want Champions League football, it decreases their value. Because it's like you verbally handed in a transfer request without actually putting in writing, and he still get his signing bonus.
United does it. If Rice went for over 100, Newcastle aren't budged on the 80 million. He might want to leave, but even like who was it that wanted to leave in the summer? Gyökeres still costs quite a big amount of money. Isak wanted to leave, and he still cost a fortune. So I think players kicking off and wanting to leave, they're still going to cost quite a lot of money.
As I say, I don't think he'll cost that. I don't think he'll cost as much as what you guys think.
He might maybe stays at Newcastle. If Newcastle are awkward
Maybe.
and they want that much money, maybe he does stay.
Yeah, but he might just run out his contract and just say, look, okay, I don't want to play. I don't want to literally, I'll stay here for my contract. I ain't going to sign another one. And then he leaves in I think, how many years has he got left on his
Under
contract?
contract though for about another, I think it's under contract to like 2030 or something. So there's not really, Newcastle got all the power in that deal as well.
But when you got an unhappy player, he won't play it. Like literally, if you got an unhappy player, best thing to do is just to get rid.
Yeah, he's got a long contract, so that's kind of the issue, isn't it, with regarding that one? There is a link in the chat if anyone wants to come on, have their say. I mean, otherwise it won't be quite as long a show tonight. We'll go for a bit longer, but if people want to come on and have their say, make sure you use the link. If you don't want to, that's absolutely fine, and we'll probably just
Come
go
on,
for some
people,
questions as
come
well.
and have a word with the Wolfster and Rich. Have your say. This is where you can have your say on anything.
Where's Mr. Cake? Like, Cake, you should come on. Like, you've got some things to say about Tonali. We've had people on that don't rate Tonali, so just come on and have your say why you think Tonali's a good signing, and it'll be an interesting debate. Like, I know G-Wolf's not too keen. I mean, who would you go for if you're making the call? Like, we got Edison done already. Who's your next two? Like, are you happy with Fernandes and Tonali if we get sensible prices?
They got to be very sensible prices, but if we're paying like 70 to 80 million for a championship player, I don't want him. No thanks.
And Vril says, I've read or heard somewhere that we got different budgets for different positions, like say 40 million for left back, 150 for midfield, etc. I'll just say with this, Vril, that Man United are not giving out that sort of information. So I wouldn't believe it if I read it. I think Man United are going to be a bit more. We said last year, G-Wolf, like, we see a lot of stories with how much Man United are going to spend. Man United will downplay the transfer fee. They always, the budget. They always do. So I wouldn't believe anything you read in the media. Man United are not putting out information into the mainstream about how much they're going to spend. They're really not. So
See,
where do you think these figures come from then? Like, where do you think these numbers come from? Like, are people just guessing?
People come out with thin air of how much that we've got to spend. Like, people would say, "Oh, we've only got 100 million," but say the truth.
What's interesting? Like, Man United will say they got no money, then they'll go, "We can afford Semenyo if he wants us," and you go, "Okay, that's 65 million. We can afford Belieber if he's 70 million, but we've got no money." So there is money there, but only if there's a player Man United want, they'll find the money, won't they? It's like a like a political policy. If you want something to happen, you will find the money from somewhere. And I think Man United, if Lewis Hall's available and there's a price we like, we'll find the money somewhere. Like, accountants are going to be good at that. I think United will find some cash as well. So I would just look at it and say, don't worry too much about the budget. There's money to spend, but I think Man United want to downplay it because, like any business, you want to make sure you don't overspend. Big up to you, Andy. Have a great night, mate. And good to see legend Rob Always United in the chat as well. Hope you're having a good evening, Rob.
Why don't you come on, Rob? Come and have your say, bro.
Yeah, G-Wolf's even got lighting now. If you saw like about 20 minutes ago, it looked like G-Wolf was literally in the dark. And considering it's like actually quite bright outside, it was I don't know what happened. Do you have like something turned off or something?
No. So basically, I was trying to use my prism lens in my OBS, and instead of it being like it is now, it went it just had a black screen.
I was going to say to people watching as well, if you were wondering why the stream was a bit delayed, I had a technical issue as well where I had like 2 browsers open and it like doubled up on myself in the stream. And I was like, how the hell? I couldn't figure out what I'd done wrong. So there was that. I was ready to go, bang on 7. And I was like, hang on a minute, there's 2 of me. And it was like an echo and I couldn't get rid of it for ages. So it was a bit of a problem. United Side Dice says we've got like 250 million money. Champions League money. If you sell players, you got more. I think we got the money. We have got some debt. I know we got like a transfer debt as well, money we have to pay. But in secret, Man United have also been have been paying back a bit of that as well. So we have spent about £100 million in the background on paying off a bit of debt. So yeah, I don't know regarding this one as well.
Oh shit! Holy crap!
You know what, Jules?
Ericsson has collapsed again.
Is it you talking about the game earlier?
The Denmark versus Ukraine, he collapsed.
Okay, yeah, no, he's in hospital and apparently he's okay now. So
yeah, but
hopefully
collapsed. Yeah, but collapsed again. The guy needs to retire now. I think literally, it's.
I'm guessing he probably will now.
He's got to, hasn't he? Like, that's twice now he's collapsed, gone unconscious. Well, he was technically dead in the first one, wasn't he? But yeah, he needs to retire. Really, I think now. I just saw it. It just came up on my feed on there.
Oh yeah, no, it happened. When did it happen? Like, must have happened like a couple of hours ago. But apparently he's in hospital. Apparently he's responding now and is okay. But yeah, no, it's one of these things, isn't it? That I don't know if it's the same reason as before, but yeah, I'm guessing that he's not going to be playing football, so it probably should be time to call it a day. And like you've got a family, etc. Howard says, would it be able to get 2 players from any club and say we got 2 players from Bayern Munich, didn't we? We got Mazraoui and we got De Ligt. So we got 2 players from. I'm not saying we should get 2 players from one club. Again, I think if Man United really wanted to get Whistler, we could have got 2 players from Brentford. So lots of clubs will sell multiple players. I'm guessing with Newcastle, they're just going to be wanting huge amounts of money. So I think I don't think United can spend the sort of Tonali price and then go for the Lewis Hall price. I mean, we have to be realistic. This is pretty big money. It could be possible though, couldn't it? I think if Man United wanted to get, say, what would be an easy one? What if we wanted to get Trafford plus Alex Scott? I think we can get those deals done. Like that's 2 players from one club. They're not expensive.
Exactly.
So a context of like Lewis Hall, say if you got a budget of £40 million for a left back, it seems weird putting an arbitrary figure on it because I think you just have to have a transfer budget. Man United will know how much they got. To be honest, if Lewis Hall's not available and then you have to buy a different left back, then maybe you get lucky. But the left back you're buying for 40 million is probably not going to be as good as one that costs more. But you have to look at it, see if it's going to be worth that sort of option as well.
But the only thing is, like that, the whole point, like literally, this is what happens in most deals. That we can, even though that we can say, look, we got 40 million for a left back. We pay 40 million up front for that left back. But then the rest of that money is going to go in. It's like, it's like, buy now, pay later. So effectively, it will be 70 million or 80 million, but we just pay it over a long period of time.
Exactly. That's how most
players. That's how most deals are done, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's how most deals are done.
It makes more sense to buy a younger player because you can spread the contract. I think you can spread it up out of a maximum of 5 years now after Chelsea started taking the piss. So you can spread the deal over about a 5-year period. But also, if you buy a 21-year-old, the contract is paid off when he's a 26-year-old. And then Man United have got no more money on the books for that player. If you buy a player, and again, but you don't have to replace him either. A 26-year-old, you do not need to replace. So that's why Man United would rather spend big on someone like Mateus Fernandes or Lewis Hall, because 5 years down the line, you've paid off the deal. And yeah, you can look at this one and say that that's why it makes sense. Because Man United could buy Lewis Hall, and in 5 years' time, they don't need to buy another Lewis Hall, do they? They got him already. So that's why they bought. They paid big money for Luke Shaw, hoping that would happen as well.
It did.
So
and like, look, he's lasted for 10 years at the club. So
if you buy,
he's had his splits and all that lot, and he has been injury prone of late since the leg break. But he's still been.
Yeah, if you buy a left back for 40 million and it doesn't work out, then it's not a good deal. United says, what happens if Hull flops? Then
Hull won't flop.
Yeah, well, I suppose that United that is probably the gamble, isn't it? If you're going to buy if you're going to buy any football player in any league, any club, any position, there's always going to be a chance it doesn't work out. And if you can buy like say who's the player I was thinking of? If you could buy a player like Aiden Heaven, there's literally you literally cannot lose because that player is so cheap. But if you spend very big money on a left back, yeah, there is going to be an issue. Like for me, like no one would have predicted Luke Shaw would have had a leg break that serious. Okay, that is definitely a freak thing, isn't it? So again, anyone can flop, and I think you have to try and mitigate the risk, don't you? If for example, if somebody said there's a great player that plays in, I don't know, Serie A, 20-year-old left back, he's going to be 80 million, 70 million pounds, I'd be thinking, right, he's never played in the Premier League. That's a one risk factor, isn't it? So the fact Lewis Hall's played, and again, I know people that watched Newcastle live against Man United as well, and they say Lewis Hall looks fantastic on the pitch. So again, it could happen, but you'd say that if you think he's the best option, then go for him. If you're unlucky, you're unlucky. But I think at the moment, it looks like he would be a good player. The only reason also, G-Wolf, people were making a big thing about him not being in the team towards the end of the season. And apparently the reason for that was he had like some injury issues, like slight ones, but it was just rotation. It was like squad rotation. So it wasn't like he was dropped. It was, more of that. So again, I don't know. It's players can flop, and I'll say with this one, I think with Di Maria didn't want to be at Man United, and Varane, I think, and Falcao also, they hadn't played in the Premier League. Yeah, I would say a good example would be. Do you remember? Who's the guy we got, the striker that then went back to Serie A? No, went back to La Liga. It was Diego Forlan.
Yeah,
he came to Man United.
Forlan.
He wasn't great, but he went back to La Liga. I think he might have been top goal scorer the year after he left us.
Yep.
So again, great player in that league.
Is that that's the ex-tennis player, isn't it?
It's just
Diego Forlan was an ex-tennis player.
Really?
Yeah.
He was a good football player, but I think the Premier League is difficult, isn't it? I think you're always going to spend a bit more money on a player that's already played in the Premier League, because there's two reasons. One is they played in the Premier League, so you can kind of judge how well they suit the Premier League. The other one is if they play in the Premier League, they're playing for a team with lots of money, so it's going to push the price up as well.
Beppe, oh my god, who remembers Beppe?
These players always have something to prove in their careers as lucky.
The only thing is, Beppe was only bought via a video that Alex Ferguson saw a video of him and literally bought him on the recommendation of that video. That's the only reason why Beppe came to Man United.
Yeah, we'll stay live for another 10 minutes. If there's no callers, we'll call it a day. If anyone wants to jump on, have their say, then please do so. Anything else you see in the transfer window, G-Wolf, that we haven't covered that's interesting you about potential deals?
I haven't seen any of the any transfers what Man United is doing. Something about Fabrizio Romano is gonna be coming out with something about Man United in the next few days. I don't know if that's true or not. So, but yeah, people, if you right, then come on then. Who's that? End them. Come back up. Come on.
And the madness. Yeah, no, we're just live. We will not be being like dissolved.
He's saying,
after the
"I hope
stream.
you are." He said, "I hope you're live more than 10 minutes." Well, people need to come on then, madness. Literally,
Yeah,
just
no,
click on the StreamYard link, put in your username, and then come on and have your say.
So Fabrizio said he'd give more information on the Mateus Fernandes deal in a few days. I don't think he knows anything at the moment. That Man United are speaking to West Ham. There's no United side Dyer is busy drinking whiskey in the pub, so otherwise he'd jump on. I think that's what you said. You did say that you were drinking whiskey. I don't want to just assume that's the case. You did say something that the whiskey was talking as well.
Let the whiskey talk. Come, get on.
Maybe next time. Maybe next time.
I was going to say, get him on the karaoke and let him have a sing song.
The feedback from the pub is two Irish blokes are arguing why Ireland didn't get into the World Cup. Maybe the players aren't good enough. I wouldn't get involved if I was you, though. How hopeful do you feel like this one as well? How confident are you that we're going to get deals done that aren't going to get people angry?
There's always going to be someone angry. So what percentage would I give? 100% is going to be people are going to be angry with any deals that United do.
I was hoping to get Cake on. He's so positive about Tonali. He just needs to come on and say why. That's all. Just come on and have your say as to why this one's going to be. Yeah, get these Irish guys subscribed to the United TV, Bilal. If you're able to, depends. If they're getting a bit angry about the state of Irish football, maybe not the best time. But no, do a bit of what's the word? Bit promotion behind the scenes. Like it's okay to promote in a pub and just say, look, United TV. If you wanna come and complain about football, this could be the perfect place. To be honest, like you can complain about football in an environment where other people can join in as well. No, I'm joking. Cake, I think I'm not sure Cake's in the comments anymore, but it's a shame that he could come on and have a good say about Tonali. That would be quite fun. Do you see Dorgu's goal against Ukraine? It was a really good goal, actually.
Was it I take it was a well taken goal.
Yeah, it was way outside the penalty area, smashed it into the top left. As you look at it on the top right hand corner, it was a nice one as well.
Okay.
Howard says, who do you feel out of the signings we're looking at would allow Bruno to shine more than this season? So I'll let you go with that one.
Oh. Phil, out of the signings that we were looking at, Tonali. Yeah, but come in, Kate. Come and have a word. Come and have a talk to us. I haven't spoken to you in ages, so get in.
You've got about 5 minutes. About 5 minutes. We'll close the stream on like 1 hour 30. So you've got about 5 minutes, Cake. You don't have to come on at all, but if you want to come on.
Yo, Jules, you come on. Come in, Jules. Come and talk to us.
You got about Jules. If you want to come on 5 minutes, why do you need to come on? Then it's kind of the point of a calling show. But you don't have to come on. But the calling shows will not be worth doing if no one calls in. That's all I'll say.
Exactly. I think this is going to be the shortest stream. No one wants to come in and have this. Come in and talk.
So Dice says he's in Arsenal territory. Okay, maybe don't get those people involved. To be honest, there's enough. It's enough having like 1 or 2 Arsenal people in the chat. We have got a legend in the chat. JR's just turned up. JR, if you want to come on, then get in rapidly before we call it a night. It's up to you. You don't have to come on. But if you want to
You
come
wanna
on, so you can't put a gun to people's head and say, "Come on, I literally can't." There's no way I can put a gun to your head sat in my music room at home. Literally no way. You don't have to. You don't have to cake, but people just like interested in your opinions. That's what I'm saying.
They're
No one's
interested
going to be
in
forced to
your
come on.
views.
Yeah, exactly. So we got JR on. We didn't have to threaten JR or hold a gun to his head. He's just willingly coming on, just to put that out there. People watching.
Yay!
What I should do when people come on the show, I should go, look, I haven't threatened your family. You're coming on of your own free will. Says, you just want me to come on and talk about my mad ideas, which are actually great. And to be honest, Cake, I agree with most of the things you've been saying recently. I agree with most of what you're saying. So you're welcome on anytime, mate. Welcome, JR. How you doing tonight?
I'm all right, thanks. Yeah, busy day. Back weekend dadding, so just got back. Yeah. How's everybody else doing? Is everyone else keeping this stuff together with all the nonsense I've read today?
I think people are generally okay. I think social media is best avoided sometimes, but in terms of like rational thinking people, I think it's generally the same. I did say actually, Edison's been called up to the Brazil squad, which is quite good news.
I know.
So people that think he's bad because he doesn't play for Brazil can have to like find a different reason to dislike him.
No, so that'll mean because that'll probably delay the deal going through, so you'll get the people going the other way about that now.
So. Yeah, exactly. Cheers, Howard. Appreciate that.
But the only thing is, hasn't he already signed a pre-contract with Man United?
You'd hope it's all done apart from the medical, wouldn't you? So
yeah, I think it's all done apart from the medical.
I think the medical's been done.
There'll still be a journalist out there that is writing, "Oh, the deal's going to collapse."
Of course.
Yeah. So that's the only negative out of that. Good for him. He's going to the World Cup. At least we get to see a bit of him maybe in the last game when they've already qualified. But
yeah, Cake says, "Are you happy with Sandro Tonali if we get him?"
He's a brilliant passer. I really enjoy it. Yeah, I like watching him pass, and he's a great player. He's just the physical side. I've seen him pushed off the ball and that a few times, and he's typical Italian, which can go against him in the Premier League. He's just, he'll go down, roll around 4 or 5 times, and play will keep going. And but I'm sure it'll offset it if we do sign him with at least 3 or 4 amazing through balls, because he's very good at that.
He's a brilliant ball carrier as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
he's a good player.
I think he'll bring stability to our midfield.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, what I like about Edison and him is if they both come in, is they are leveling up on ground covered.
Yeah.
Because Casemiro is a great player, a great aerial threat, great at first time balls forward, well, most of the time. But he's great. He wasn't. He was 34. His legs wasn't what they used to be.
Exactly.
And it was not just him. It's prior to Casemiro as well. I think we've been awful for a decade in the centre of the park, and we just need to get players with this sort of quality in. And I'm just hope we get it all done as quick as possible without much of a hindrance from the World Cup. To be honest.
Yeah. What would you think regarding Anderson? Like, because people say get Anderson, Anderson's better, etc.
Anderson's my pick.
What do you think?
Anderson's my pick. I've seen him 2 or 3 years now, and I was like, I would have gone for him last summer, but the powers that be, we had too big a job, didn't we? So it's
yeah.
I mean, last summer, I mean, if you looked at the forward line we had last year to the forward line we had this year, it's night and day. And
do you remember the transfer window last year?
Oh.
And I was saying, like, we need to get, and I said to people, we're going to get a goalkeeper, because I couldn't imagine any sort of universe where Man United had gone, actually, we'll keep buying doing Onana. They might improve. Like, there's no way we're going to do that. And I thought we were going to spend big on strikers because we had Rasmus with 3 goals, we had Xerxes with 3 goals or something, we had Garnacho that needed 50 shots a goal. So it was like a no-brainer, wasn't it? And I thought we maybe could have got some midfield player done, but to be honest, there was a lot of other stuff to do.
Yeah.
And I've said for like maybe not quite as long as you, but like 18 months, I've been saying Anderson looks really good. And I mean, now he's on the radar of everybody. I think Man United might have been looking at these players then, but he's just kind of escalated in price. Do you think we can get him, like, or do you think it's one where we have to be realistic and say like, we have to move on and look at other targets?
You don't know what was going off, but it looks like to me they're asking players if they want to come before they come now, rather than us having these endless chasers for players that don't want to come anymore. And that's promising. And if they've had that conversation with Anderson and he's like, "Now I'm going to City, enjoy your relegation fight," because that's when everything goes through City play. I mean, I think if City get I think something's coming because Pep wouldn't have gone otherwise, and I think there's going to be a big exodus in City in the next 18 months. So he can go there now, but. Well, if the points come in, is he going to be one of the guys who sticks around or jumps? And all the City players are going to go through that in the next sort of 16 months, I think.
Yeah, and the man that said glad we didn't get Belieber. I think the sporting director at Brighton got sacked, so I'm guessing they wish that we had got Belieber for some decent price or half decent price. I'm going to bring Cody on. Are you good to come on, Cody? It looks like you muted your mic, but I'll bring you on because we're going to be live for like another 20 minutes. So I don't know if he's ready to come on, but he's on.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
How you doing, Cody?
Yeah, I'm good. Having dinner. What's up? How you guys doing?
All good, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Big up, JR,
Big up, mate.
Rich. Yeah. So I think Edson will get a bit of respect now, given that he got the call up, even though I feel he would have still gotten it after a while. So I think he's the type of player that is unassuming. I had a football competition just among my guys last year, and there were some guys that didn't look it, but they were seriously on it. So I think Edison has that kind of, it's not really the kind of charismatic name that catches the eye for fans. But I think his desire, one of the things I like about him, his desire, wanting to play for us, wear the shirt. I think it will come good rather than going for a stellar name like how I went for Sancho and just came and messed up. So I think we should give him a chance. I think he'll do well.
I think he'll be fine. I think people are really worried about it, but most people that are really worried about it probably haven't really watched him play.
No. I don't think we've been linked to any players other than the one we've got where we're generally worried about the quality anymore. Everybody we've been linked with, it's not like it's going to be a catastrophic signing or a surprise. I think everybody we're looking at, barring Edison, everyone knows exactly what they're getting, which is nice because it means you don't have to go and research the Dutch league and everything else.
It seems like they're low risk, don't they? Like there's no one to. I remember looking at Lammens and thinking, I hope this works out because it was the one league. Obviously, I don't watch the Belgian league, and I'm not going to pretend I watch the Belgian league just because we signed a player from there. But I was just thinking, let's just hope that the Premier League's not too much of a big step up. And to be honest, it wasn't, was it? He was a good signing.
No, the surprise for me regarding that, and I was talking to one of my friends who he's sort of a big deal in regarding Premier League agents, and he looks at he's specifically goalkeepers, but he was saying like for physicality, Belgium, Holland, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark, they should take to the Premier League or the Championship like a duck to water because they are indeed physical leagues. they're more physical than Germany, they're more physical than Holland, which is always a surprise when you just presume that the Premier League's the most physical league in the world.
So what I think with Ederson, I think the problem is actually the crop of players we're looking at. So we're looking at players like Anderson, Chouameni. So when you now bring in an Ederson to the equation, it now looks really, really low. Whereas Fernandes, it doesn't really look low because he's young. Do you get? He's got a high ceiling. So when you now vary Ederson to the likes of Chouameni and Anderson, so that's why there's a big drop off in the excitement of fans. So I think that's a major concern. Whereas if you were looking at Ederson with the likes of Sergio Gomez and all, or Stiller, it might have been a little bit balanced. So that's my own take. And as you see now, you see that Stiller is not even getting a shout. So I think towards the end of the window, I think Man U's plan is get Ederson. We go from the lowest to the higher to the highest. That way they don't milk us for paying so much. So when we get Ederson and we get Fernandes, give or take 60, they will not get that supreme tier 1 midfielder. So that's what I think. So if we can't get Anderson, we'll try to get Chouameni. If we can't get him, we'll not get Tonali. So if you bid, say 70-ish for Tonali, that's the third mid. So it won't affect your other deals. Whereas if you start with that one, everybody will start giving you that figure. They will say, since you can pay this, you can pay this. You understand? So I think that's what we're trying to do.
Makes sense to go for the cheaper deals first, doesn't it? They're easier to do. And we don't know if Man United want to get deals done after July as well. So there might be some financial reasons for doing deals this way. But also, if you do a most expensive deal first, doesn't it just push the transfer market up a bit? If Man United's first deal was to blow a huge amount of money on a top target, every other player's going to start being costing more because they'll just go, the market's going crazy, prices will go up. So I think it's like overinflating the market. But you get Ederson deal done quickly. I mean, we saw last year that things can go crazy. So Mateus Fernandes for 65 might be like a bargain in a month's time. You never know. We might see some mediocre players going for crazy money. It always kind of happens that way.
I just like the idea that Fernandes and Tonali aren't at the World Cup, so it should mean they should get done.
Yeah, that's one thing as well, isn't it? That we could get a good pre-season.
No World Cup. So I think at some point there might be some agitations. So the trick with the Tonali deal is that the longer it wastes, it takes the less decomposure. What's coming out from Newcastle is we don't want to sell our best players, la-di-da. But as it begins to come towards the tail end, he's going to start to realize that he's got less time to move before the window starts. And then 1 or 2 agitations, maybe the agent can do 1 or 2 stops. So just brace yourself. So I feel Man U, after they get that Fernandes, they will try to go for the long game for the third midfielder. Because the thing fans don't understand is if you keep splashing cash from whatever the seller wants, it will keep setting that precedence of overpaying, which will make our next window harder and harder and harder. So that's why we need to peg it. So it's not like we can't pay the 80 for Fernandes, but it's more like we shouldn't pay it. He's relegated. I don't care how good he is, he's relegated. If he wasn't, you can block. He's relegated. So there's a price tag of a relegated player. Even if Messi is relegated, it's going to affect his price tag, let alone Mateus Fernandes. So they have to have some sense to drop it to a particular level. But I think the relations are pretty good, given what Solly has said. And at some point, they are going to have some sense like, okay, let's close this up. It's more like they are playing some poker, and later when they're ready, they'll trash it out. So
yeah, I would say JSN in the chat says the same sort of thing, saying the complicated deals just take longer to get done. So the only reason Ederson's the easiest deal to do, that's why it's done first. Jules has got a question about Gordon price. I think it definitely affects Tonali's valuation possibly. Does it affect Rashford's at all, or is that a different issue completely?
I think that's a different issue completely. I think the Rashford deal, 26 million is what we're going to get for him. But the only thing is going to be all profit anyway because he's an academy player for us. So I tell you the truth, Sell him
think-
for 26. We get about 100 million. We still have. We'll like effectively have 100 million to spend on other players anyway.
I think
So,
absolutely congratulations to Newcastle for getting the sum of money they have done for Anthony Gordon. He's he's probably about 70 million more than he's worth, I think.
Yeah, this season, he hasn't really set the world alight. I would have said that his best season was the season previous, when he did really well at the Euros with England. It was then. I thought he was at his. He was really great for England, plus also for Newcastle that season. Other than that, it's been bang average, really, Annie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the thing with the Gordon deal, I actually think that deal is kind of a head scratcher in my own opinion. There's nothing really much exciting about Gordon. He blazed away a weak side, Karabakh, in the Champions League, which any top player can do. So it's not like he scored 4 goals against Barca or Madrid. So it's Karabakh, seriously. So I think he's overrated in my own opinion. But at the same time, Barca could get away with it with their style of play and the passing and all. So, there's a way you pass the ball and feed the player and you make him king. So imagine them passing balls, Yamal, everybody passing to him as a forward. Even if you miss 3, you score 2, it makes you look good. But to me, he's an overrated player. He's not worth 17M at all. He's not worth it at all. I think the thing with the Rashford is
I don't get it with Gordon, to be honest. I don't get the valuation of Gordon at all.
So I think the Rashford deal is that Man, you wanted him out so bad, so we made the valuation low so that it would be an easy exit because we didn't want to deal with his wages. They now decided to take advantage and say, since you made it so low, you're desperate, let me prize you. It's like Rich wants to sell an expensive shirt and he needs some money. And I say, no, I'll give you half of it. That's what Barca are doing to us. They know he's worth more than we give him, but they can see we really want him out and want not. They can see how terrified we are of him coming back. And they know we're back in the UCL. And so what do? They mess about, play it down, say no, Rashford tried, he did okay, blah, 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 and stuff. We'll think about it. That's what they're trying to do. So, but
the only
I
thing
hope
is,
we can
he
get
could
him
still
out.
come back.
No, G-Wolf, Rashford won't come back. Worst case scenario is that he goes out on loan. So what I would do if I were Man United is I'll either loan him to another club but not Barca, in that they won't get what they want.
Yeah.
So because
that's what I'm
loan him
saying.
to
Like
Barca,
but he would still come back. He would still be a Man
So if
United, come back as a Man
so if you
United
loan
player,
him
but
to-
he won't play for
to
the club
Barca.
again.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant play for us.
No.
If you loan him to
He
Barca, they
won't
get
come
what
and
they
play for the
want.
club again. But
So-
because Barca are not,
yeah.
because of Barca are not going to pay what we want for him.
So
He'll
the
come back
issue is because
he'll
of
come
Rashford.
back and have to train at Manchester United, but then he'll
Yes,
We don't know
yes.
that, do we?
someone like
It's all
Bayern
like kind
Munich.
of hypothetical. Like we don't know what's going to happen.
So the thing with Rashford, he tied our hands by saying he wants only Barca. That's the challenge. If he didn't say that, Barca could have pushed, PSG could have pushed, but because he said he wants only Barca, there's nothing we can do. And Barca are now leveraging on that to mess about and take the piece. It's just so annoying. But I think we're moving on one way or the other.
We've got to just concentrate on the signings we can make, and that'll sort itself out after the World Cup.
Yeah. But I feel a bit gutted that the Greenwood deal, it's a bust because the president lost the election, and so we'll have to explore on that route for his exit. Would have gotten a bit of a windfall from it. Greenwood.
Why? Well, is that the Fenerbahce deal? I don't.
Yes,
I think
the
Cam's
Fenerbahce
saying-
deal.
Can I just ask the question, Cody? Apparently, Rashford, like, say, power and speed according to Cam. I would say for me, I would value goal scorers more. I just don't think Gordon, like, as an attacking player, if you're playing 4-3-3, I think as an attacking force, does Gordon do enough?
I disagree with that statement about Gordon being a better ball. Yeah, he runs in a straight line. He's got no tricks. He's either faster than you or he's not. What makes it painful, because he can't go down the left hand side. He can't go both ways. So he'll do a trick, turn inside, do a trick, turn inside. And the only the only right back I've seen him do well against this season, of course, was Diego Dalot. But the rest of the league have worked him out.
So, I mentioned that Barca, their style of play has to do more with flair. So it's not just about scoring goals, blah blah blah. So in some ways, I can understand it, but I still feel it's a head scratcher. I still feel Rashford experience his explosive pace and the numbers he produced. I still feel that I rate him way, way, way higher than Gordon. So they already have guys like Yamal, Rafinha, so you can understand why they're not really bothered. They just look at it that those keys gone. They need fresh legs. Gordon is fresh legs, so they don't really care his skill set level, so to speak, because of the other players they have there.
Exactly.
Have you got any hot takes, G Wolf?
Nah, not today.
Oh, I missed them.
What was your favourite one?
My favourite U-turn of G Wolf's ever was just after I started watching the channel, and one of the reasons why I've stuck with the channel is because you don't know when the genius of G Wolf will reappear. It is when David De Gea has always been a line goalkeeper, and he was going through a really bad time. It was just before the Seville game, and he'd gone to bat in defence of David De Gea and said that he commanded his box, and he commanded his box, and then he went on to possibly have his worst night in a United shirt the day after. And then he came back on saying, "I never said that. He's the worst goalkeeper I've ever seen." It was so funny.
Funny enough, when I joined the channel, one of the two people that I really noticed was G Wolf and Cake. The takes they have, sometimes I'm wondering like, how does Rich process these two guys? After a while, I got used to them and I just say, yes, G Wolf. Then he's doing his thing and Cake.
The only thing is, look, whatever I say, don't take anything that I say seriously.
No, we don't.
At the end of the day,
to be honest, though, I would say, like, who would have predicted David De Gea to have that sort of game? That's probably a career worst game. Like, he lost the ball about near the halfway line, and I was thinking, I was watching that game thinking, what the hell is going on? Like, this is like kind of a Nana level performance, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, but the thing is, as bad as De Gea was that night, he was still never as bad as what Nana went on to be.
Exactly.
Do you think that, when people said, "Oh, David De Gea is on his line too much, he needs to come out," and I was thinking, not that far. No.
The thing with David De Gea, I think the issue he had was a mental block. So he made an error and he never got over it. So it's more like each game he keeps doubting himself, second guessing himself.
He never had
instead of moving on.
De Gea
so he's not a bad goalkeeper, but it's a mental block.
Yeah, De Gea didn't have a break for 5 years. I mean, like he played near enough, apart from when Sergio Romero was there. He pretty much played every game for like 5 or 6 seasons, and he was obviously just needed a break, and we never gave it him because the number 2 after Romero, all of them have been terrible.
Did you make a U-turn on Mbeumo? Because you said Mbeumo was bang average and a poor signing.
I did say that. Yep.
Ooh, I missed that one.
You missed that one? Oh no, I said he's bang average. We shouldn't be going for bang average players. He ain't going to do well for Man United. But then
McTominay's not a Champions League player; he's a Championship player. That was another one.
Yeah, that was another one. McTominay is a champion. To tell the truth, like, come on, Italian league, one of the easiest places.
No, he's just when he was at United, he always constantly played in the wrong position. This is the horrible thing about being a United fan for as long as I've been knowing you. Every manager has played somebody in a system out of position constantly since Sir Alex, and I love Juan Mata. He's one of the when you watch him in real life when we first got him, his technique is second to none, but he can't run. And then for him to go, yeah, we'll play you wide right and track the fullback all the way back, who's a 6'4" athlete who can run the 100 meters in 11 seconds. It just wasn't working, and they went, and 3 managers went, yeah, we'll just play one matter right wing.
Yeah, and it doesn't work. Didn't work.
No, he was a number 10 all day. We didn't play him there.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's the same
And
with
also,
Dominic.
I saw one that someone says, "Have I ever said anything serious in my life?" Mr. B, yes, when I took my vows of marriage to my wife. Just to put that one out there.
G-Wolf, you've said some serious takes aside marriage now. It's just that sometimes you could be quite erratic. I listened to some of your takes recently with Rich. They've been quite spot on. So it depends on your mood, your groove, while you're having a take.
If I feel that the everything is becoming serious, I would say something that will get the chat like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
You got to, because I'll tell you the truth, not everything.
How are you going
is
to cope
so
with like World Cup
serious.
games at G-Wolf? Like, are you literally awake at like 4, 5, 6, 7 a.m.? Like, if you're awake overnight?
Do you know what? Sometimes, yeah, because I'm a night owl, really.
I'm just wondering, like, you know, when people, I've worked nights long time ago, and we just used to listen to like random shit on the radio, and I was just thinking, are people going to be like doing their night shift thinking, let's just see what G-Wolf's talking about Costa Rica versus Scotland or something?
As I say, there's only 2 dates that I really can't do, and that's the 12th and
That'd
the
be quite funny,
26th.
actually. But you might get a lot of people tuning in, because I don't think general people are going to cover like 4 a.m. kickoffs with minor teams, so that could be an interesting one.
Oh, you meant about football, right? Have I ever said anything serious about football? No, not really. Literally. The only thing which I was really, as I said, the only serious thing which I said about football was Man United losing against Newcastle 3-0, and I think I went into an absolute torrent on the channel of how the players were absolutely disgraceful. And then someone decided, and then one of my mates, he's decided to use that and put it as a rap. That was quite funny.
No, you've had some great moments. I mean, there's so many.
Mbappe's a flop.
No, what was it? Garnacho's better than Mbappe.
Yeah, I remember the Mbappe one. I was like, what?
Yeah. But what I was getting
Can you imagine G-Wolf scouting?
I thought Garnacho. I really thought Garnacho could be better than Mbappe, but it just turned into an absolute fail.
And Richie just said it. Can we imagine G-Wolf scouting? Then my counter question is, imagine Jim negotiating. Jim doesn't like to pay the big bucks. He won't get any deal done. So G-Wolf will scout, then Jim will pay.
Did our scouts go and watch Anthony with like the G-Wolf glasses on and go, my God, this guy's a baller, get him in, 80 million, and you go, actually, he's quite shit. But
no,
so we're going to have to wrap up in a second. So last couple of questions. So do you think Anderson would be good dressed in blue?
As much as I hate to say this, I think he'll be very good.
That what calls England away kids?
The way City play his game, I think he'll be very good, but I would have loved it if he's not good. So for me, for Anderson to flop at City, the only way that will happen is if he's ravaged by injuries, which he hasn't shown in his career. But if that doesn't happen, I don't think he'll flop as much as I'd want him to flop. So it's just a scar we'll have to deal with and close other deals. So except if the 130 charges catch up with him. So
I think 120 million, wherever it's going to cost. I don't think City need that sort of depth to get back out of the Championship when they get relegated. I think they'll be fine. So I would say save the money and maybe just use it on legal fees.
So for me, with the Anderson deal, I think it's still a bit tricky. in as much as Pep has gone, I just feel the degree to which you back a manager is different. Like the degree to which you back Enrique is the degree to which you back Emery, in my own opinion, even though it's the same club, same ambition. So I just feel with Maresca, you can just say, well, you can use this. But Pep will say, I want this. I want
I think
Rich.
with Pep though,
Rich.
Pep wanted a £100 million player, and Man City got him for 60 with 40 million off the books. That can't happen anymore. I think that's going to be why. If City played by the rules, Maresca would not be able to get the sort of money that Pep got anyway. Because it was literally that. Let's be honest, like if you look at sponsorship, Man City got hardly any fans. If they can't fill the stadium, how are they going to be bringing in those massive sponsorship deals?
The biggest surprise I ever had about Man City was when we were Champions League night, just after they first were getting successful, and we were walking outside after being somewhere else, and they were offering the tickets for free to try and fill up the stadium for a Champions League game.
I remember that.
I could not believe it, and we just went okay. So we ended, so we went to watch Man City. I think they won 2-1 against some Spanish team. And
how much would you pay for Anderson? That's what I really want to know. Would you break the bank?
I feel Anderson for me is a 100 million player max. Then max of the max is 105, like matching what the Gunners paid for Declan Rice. Anything above 105, nah, you should go. I'd rather get two players instead of. Reason being that if you get Anderson, as good as he is, if he's injured, your squad is back to square one when you lack such a player. So rather, I'll just get two solid players than stuff. So I don't expect City to pay that 120, in my opinion. The only way they pay it is if they do that reverse book cooking nonsense that they do, because it's too much, in my own opinion. It's too much. So it's not like they don't have the money, but it's too much.
If he doesn't sign for
have a line, they draw a line. So
if he doesn't sign for us, I hope he costs them 300 million. I don't care, and then he'll be dead to me, like the previous comment said.
I get your point, JR. I get your point, JR. But what I'm trying to say is that even City draw a line. Don't forget the Rice deal. They didn't say, okay, Arsenal are paying 105, I'll pay 110. They moved out. So they also draw a line. So if they didn't push above 105 for Rice, why do you think they'll do that for Anderson? Think about it. They won't.
After 20 years of cheating,
I don't know what Forest are smoking, asking for 125.
Yeah, Broken Mo says that he thinks that Man City, that he doesn't think changing managers will affect the transfer policy, and if we want him, they might try and get him the same way. What was the question, Jules?
I said, how much would you pay for Anderson? What's your highest?
Prices are crazy, but I think 100 million. If you're going to have to go that one, I'd probably have paid 100 million for Declan Rice. I thought Declan Rice was a quality player for West Ham.
Would you break the bank for Anderson?
I don't know. Is it breaking the bank? 100 million pounds. I'd rather spend 100 million pounds on a good player than spend 50 on a player that doesn't work out, like a Garte.
See, I'll break the bank to get Anderson. I wouldn't care. I'll pay the 120. I think. Literally, if we have to break the British transfer record and get him for around about 120, 125 mil.
Hey, they're the days. I don't know if they're prepared to do that now, but I'm with you 100% there, G Wolf.
If the Glazers didn't take their dividends, we could have done this like 10 years ago at half the price, and we wouldn't have to worry about it so much. So again, you've got to look at trying to do this. Like Newcastle, when I spoke to Philip from Toon Tactics, he said they were forced to sell Anderson because they were getting very close to get the points deduction for like financial issues. So they kind of forced to sell him for 35. Shame we weren't interested then. We could have got maybe a good deal. But 100's a massive fee, though, isn't it?
It is a massive fee, but the only thing is, if you want the best, you got as I said to people time and time again, for a bang average player now. Because of what happened with Neymar for 200 million to Paris Saint-Germain, for a bang average player now, you're looking at round about 50 to 60 million for an average player. if you want the top player, you're gonna have to spend. You're gonna have to break the bank to do it. Look how much. Mbumo went for. Yeah, he's a decent player, but is he really worth 60-something mil?
We did finish. If Ganacho's worth 40, then he's worth 70. Because Ganacho got about 4 goals or something, and Buemo got 10 in his first season.
Yeah, but the only thing is, do you know what I mean though? Like, this is what it is. Like,
it's all relative, isn't it? I think
for a relatively decent player, you're paying over 50, 60 million.
Yeah, they're all overpriced, aren't they?
For an absolute top class player, you're looking in the hundreds. And that's the way that it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone a bit crazy, isn't it? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, as well, and I think every single forward we bought in the last window's paid for itself anyway, with everything that's happened this season. I wouldn't swap any player we had from last season for this season in a million years, ever. That's how much of an upgrade it was. It
basically got us Champions League football, isn't it, G-Wolf? Like, we spend £200 million on attackers. We sold, we'll probably sell Xerxes at some point. We sold Garnacho, and we sold Rasmus, didn't we, as well? So we got Rasmus money in, we got Garnacho money in, which was what 40 for Garnacho, 38 for Rasmus, and then maybe we'll get 35 for Xerxes. So we'll get like 115 or so back, and we spent 200. So overall, massive upgrades across the pitch. And Anna's gone, massive upgrade with Lamon. So, and if we get big upgrades in midfield as well, I think we're going to have a much better team. So I think it is worth it because we went from finishing 15th to finishing 3rd. So the Champions League money pays for at least one and a half of those deals. So bargain. We're going to have to wrap it up. If anyone's got any final thoughts, any final comments? Like, you joined at the NJR. How are you feeling overall? Relaxed about the window, or are you as stressed as
I'm not going to be. If it's still like this with a week to get with a week till the transfer deadline, I'll be nervous. But I'm relaxed about it. I think they know what they're doing. I think just give it. The World Cup's going to slow everything up because it always does when we have summer football. But I like the idea that we're signing good players who didn't go, and I think they'll be announcing a few deals probably in a week or two anyway.
Yeah, Cake's this is the most enthusiastic I've seen Cake. So I want to see Bruno and Kobe, get Tonali, get Anderson. Actually, that's ambitious. I don't know if we can get Tonali and Anderson. You might be talking about crazy money if we did that as well. But he says you want to see. Oh, you spelled that wrong. You mean you want to sell Bruno and Kobe? I think that's what you're saying. You want to sell Bruno and Kobe, sign Tonali and Anderson, right? Okay, we might be disagreeing now. I think.
Yeah. He's always hated Bruno, Annie Cake. Oh, like Bruno.
Usually I'm accused of arguing with people in the chat, so I'm not going to say anything. Cake wants to sell Bruno and Kobe. What's your response?
No.
Hell no.
I remember one game when Bruno got 2 assists and scored a goal, and Cake said he was the worst player on the pitch.
I remember that.
I just don't understand when maybe you're seeing something I'm not. I just don't see why you sell Bruno Fernandes. Like, he's on the back of a record season for assists. Then
and he wants to sell him.
Do you know what I think, though? The reason why Man United was so good the second half of the season was a lot to do with Kobe Mainoo being in midfield. Like, a lot to do with...
Exactly, like a new signing.
Further forward.
Yeah.
He's saying the reason why he wants to sell Bruno because he's got a 58 million release clause and he's 32. And would leave for nothing, and then what?
Yeah, but you can't just get rid of great players like that. I mean, look at Spurs with Harry Kane.
Exactly.
You go, we'll just replace him with loads of money and like guaranteed to buy an absolute worldie to replace him. And it's just not how it's not how it works. I mean, the only team I think that's ever lost a world-class player and slightly improved, ironically, was Spurs after they sold Bale, and I can't remember it any other time in my lifetime when many teams have transformed how they are after selling their best player. It just doesn't happen. You keep your best player as long as you can.
Exactly.
And I mean, look at us after we were really lucky and fortunate at United to have all those great players play for Ferguson, and then Ferguson knew when to go because he, Scholes, Giggs, and everybody was coming to the end, and that was some rebuild not even the great one could do. And we're still here all this time later, and you talk about the streams of players we've had. You great players. You try and keep them as long as you can. That's it, because you have to transform the whole way the team plays when you lose them. And look at Spurs with Harry Kane. You can't just take 28 to 30 goals out of the team like that and just go, yeah, Richarlison will replace Harry Kane.
Yeah, he was too good, wasn't he? Like Harry Kane, you get goals, you get assists every single season. It's like Mo Salah. Liverpool have never replaced Mo Salah. You can't replace Mo Salah. There isn't a Mo Salah out there. You can't replace these players. Like Bruno Fernandes, who's going to do what Bruno can do? Like
exactly. And people are saying all the stuff about City and Arsenal winning the league this year. And in my opinion, the only reason why Arsenal won the league this year is because City sold De Bruyne.
Possibly.
Look at City. They're not a million miles away. And you're telling me if De Bruyne was still there, he wouldn't have got them an extra X amount of points to get them near Arsenal.
I saw something recently. I can't remember what it was now. It was like some highlight reel of, I think it might be Man United playing against Atalanta in the Europa League. And it was a game where we won right at the end, where Cristiano Ronaldo's header.
Yeah.
And that was the 3-2. For some reason that game popped up on my phone, okay, and I saw a few comments about Bruno Fernandes. In that game, Bruno Fernandes sets up about 10 chances in that game, and there's so many, and this is not a one-off season. People are talking about Bruno Fernandes being like a one-off season. Bruno's been creating chance after chance for inefficient strikers for years. And I was watching this game thinking, there's another chance Rashford misses, another chance Rashford misses, another chance Ronaldo misses. And I was thinking, wow, Bruno was like setting up loads and loads of great chances that were like one-on-ones with the goalkeeper. They were shots inside like the penalty area. And in the end, we won the game. But I think Bruno's been doing this under the radar for ages.
No, it's not under the radar. You just need to go, like, if you watch the games, you can see
for some people, I'm watching it thinking, like, Bruno Fernandes is just a creating machine. Can you imagine if he played for Arsenal?
Oh, don't, yeah. If he played for anyone else, he'd be but he'd have been like poster boy of the league. He's this, he's that. But everybody seems to hate him who's not a United fan, which is not a good start. And then, like Cake, a lot of our own fans seem to go overboard on him. But you just need to go to see how many times he creates. I mean, that season we've had two strikers in my experience of watching United who, if I were Bruno, I'd have had a heart attack or a nervous breakdown or something, because he's Højlund. That guy scored 4 goals last season, and I swear, in the games that I remember, he must have created about 80 chances just for him on his own, and he scored 4 goals. And the other one was Weghorst. Oh my God, both of them were just, he was putting them on a plate for him, and he just smashed them.
Weghorst had like 1 goal in about 25 shots or something like that. And
it was painful.
Ganacho must have had like a 5% strike rate in terms of chances. It was something, I'm not joking, it was something like 5 or 6%. And I was thinking, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do with that sort of finishing.
Yeah, and then we went through that, and then you hear some fans saying, "Oh, it's all right. He does it for Portugal," and you go, "He's doing the exact same thing. It's just he's got Ramos and Ronaldo up front, and then for us, he's got, older Højlund who can't." I've never seen a forward in my life not be able to sort his legs out as fast as him outside of amateur football.
Weghorst. Oh, I've forgotten about that guy. I was just laughing. If Mourinho wants Bruno, I don't know. Don't, Jules, don't. So I did say this recently. I said, can you imagine if we had someone like Van
Oh,
Nistelrooy with Bruno finding him? And I was thinking, that's what Man United need. We need a striker in the penalty
could you
area.
imagine how much Ruud van Nistelrooy would cost in today's market? It'd be.
I definitely there's anyone actually like Van Nistelrooy, because for me Van Nistelrooy was the best finisher I've ever seen. I think
Yeah, same here. I loved him. I've
maybe
never.
the only one actually. I saw a bit of Van Basten, but not much. And he was like kind of the same sort of person as like the ball goes near him, it's like bang goal. And I was thinking
He,
maybe
he,
that's
he was unbelievable. He was like a cheat code. He was unbelievable. And the gutting part about Van Nistelrooy's run at United is the rest of the team, like particularly defensively, we were all over the show because we'd lost Keane and Rio were finding his feet, and we didn't really get a proper partner for Rio early on because we had Mikel Silvestre.
we had about 10 goalkeepers that were
Yeah,
rubbish. We had Laurent Blanc at about age
yeah,
50. Yeah, we didn't build around. We had Van Nistelrooy, who was like a cheat code, but we didn't have
yeah,
anything else behind him,
yeah.
unfortunately.
So to win a game, we'd be having to score 5 goals, and we'd win like 5-4 or 5-3 quite a lot. And he'd get an hat trick, and but we'd have we concede, especially when we had Bartes, and I don't know what we just concede from goal kicks constantly from other team. Flick on.
Yeah, did Van Nistelrooy, Van Nistelrooy didn't like it when Cristiano Ronaldo was doing step overs.
No, because he was used to Beckham, wasn't he? Get it in the box, and apparently, like the rest of the team, when he was young, that's what was the end of Ronaldo. Sorry, Van Nistelrooy at United, because apparently it nearly got to fisticuffs in the changing room between the pair of them, and Ferguson knew which way that battle was going.
Blake said he named his fish after Van Nistelrooy. Okay. One of my friends bought Van Nistelrooy car mats. He didn't even have a car. I think he had some issues. And I was like, what the hell are you buying Van Nistelrooy? I didn't even know they sold Van Nistelrooy car mats. I think he bought them for, online from the club shop or something. And I was thinking, bloody hell, Man United will sell anything to anyone, won't they? And people will pay it for some reason.
He's one of the 3 players I like when I heard the news he'd left. There's 3 players that I nearly cried in public. It was Stam, when I found out Stam was leaving, because he's still the best centre back I've ever seen.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
Yeah, Stam, Beckham, and Van Nistelrooy. Them 3, when I found out they were leaving, that hit me like a family member had died.
How are you when Ronaldo left?
It was coming though. It was different. So with Stam and Van Nistelrooy and Beckham, it was very much, there were no sort of like rumours or anything. It was just, they've gone. You have to be a man, stand up and take your news, and then but with Ronaldo, if you remember the last 3 years, is he going to Madrid this summer? Is he going to Madrid this summer? And then eventually it happened.
Yeah, it was a bit annoying, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was particularly gutted about Beckham. I don't know, Beckham just felt like the one player that he didn't want to leave, did he? Like Beckham wanted to be a Man United player, and it was a bit of a shame.
It's when Ferguson decided, wasn't it? He ran it like an offer.
Unfortunately, I think that Beckham just had one too many hairstyle, and Fergie was like, "That's it, you're off." And it was a shame. So I like Beckham. I thought he was still doing it on the pitch as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've still not seen anybody hit a crossfield ball like him.
No.
Scholes. People talk about Scholes and Scholes' ability, but it's the different. But Scholes had that backspin on pretty much all of them. As Beckham used to be able to, he could put different angles on the swerve. So if it was outside or on the inside, no one could, like why he's got his name, no one could bend it like how he did. And then when he hit the outside ball to Giggs, it was just one of those. It was just a thing of beauty that you had to admire, because you used to see it you saw it in the cup game against someone like Preston. The same ball will twist the opposite fullback inside out, and then you'd see it in the Champions League, exact same thing against world-class defenders, turning him inside out just with with that crossfield ball because Scholes could get you or Beckham could get you from either way, and it used to stretch teams so much.
I thought Beckham had an underrated finish actually as well.
Yeah,
Like he had a really good finish. He scored some great goals as well.
I know,
like,
and then
goals.
people talk about him like in the same sentence as bloody Ward Prowse and people like this, and it's like, oh, he just did dead balls, and he was so much more than that. He was a brilliant player. His work rate was tremendous, and yeah, people, if you have to, you had to be there. That's the best way to describe David Beckham.
Yeah, I think with this one, I remember watching, say, the year after the World Cup, where there's like pantomime booing, like sort of, it was like it was nasty at the start, and then it got towards the end where it was just like, I remember going to a game at Hillsborough, and it was just like it did end up being like pantomime booing when Beckham was on the pitch, but it was nasty to start with. But he kind of won people around by just being outstanding on that season, like night and their treble winning season. He was like world class most of those games.
Yeah, Ferguson in his book was saying after he left, he never felt he got to the same fitness standard that he had at United, and that was what was his downfall towards the back end of his career. But that's probably the same as anybody else who goes past 30, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah, I sat next to this Spurs fan, like one of my friends, and Stephanie's like making the joke. And what happened was when Beckham touched the ball, everyone on the ground's like going boo. And I was sat with the Wednesday fans because my friend got tickets and we got them from the like Sheffield box office type thing. And he booed, and I was like, "What?" And he was going, "Oh, sorry, Rich." Because I was thinking that. And then when I went to watch the game a year later, and when Man United scored, literally 3/4 of the ground was celebrating. This is like away fans, and like no, he was like ridiculous. I would actually say that people that are talking about Giggs and comparing Giggs to modern players, there's no comparison whatsoever. If you're playing 4-4-2, you're not going to get as many goals in the wide left position. You put Giggs as like front as a 4-3-3, he'd get ridiculous amount of goals. He was like a world class player every time I saw him.
Giggs in full flow is. People will say this is rubbish, but he was easily at his prime in full flow as good a dribbler, if not better than Ronaldo. He was. I've never seen anybody send.
I think he was, because he didn't have. It wasn't about elite pace with Giggs. It was like acceleration,
change of
body
direction,
swerve. Then it's elite pace, and the guy's like, you're not even racing against him. He's just gone. And I just watched Giggs running. I've never seen anything like it, because he's running at full speed, but the defenders, they're trying to backtrack, and they're running full speed, and he's losing them. And then he just skips past them like they're not there. It's ridiculous.
I mean, the best thing I could ever say about Giggsy, what I love, and you got to go back the Italian right back who was, I think his name's Perotta. I think his name was Perotta. Played for Juventus, but he was he was a stalwart of the Juventus right back, and during that period he was the Italian right back, and this guy was famous for not getting beat. You don't get past him. He's a brilliant defender, and Giggs nutmegged him 3 times in like 2 minutes in the first leg at Old Trafford. And this guy's like, oh, he's the best. He's one of the best right backs in the world, And Giggs would just kill him every time he played him.
I would say for people that didn't watch Ryan Giggs, you can watch some highlights of about like 2001, 2003, playing against Italian teams like Juventus in 2003. I think he completely destroyed that team. Like he was completely running riot in that game. And I think that might be when you're talking about that, he was like unbelievable. And there was links between him and Italian teams for years. Like he was never going to leave. But
Giggs suffered with the stuff Bruno did as well, because he went through a tricky spell at the end of the 90s where he was getting a lot of hamstring injuries. So a lot of the fans was like, for me, he was a god. I was just a kid, but then my dad used to like my favourite players. But then when we go to the ground, you'd hear outside saying, "Oh well, Giggs is rubbish. Giggs is this," and it's like, come on and have 2 assists. And in today's, it's set up to and kill the opposition, and yet there'd be people saying, "Oh, he's too fancy, that Giggs." So he had it come up. Yeah.
I think maybe when I've watched Man United, like the first couple of games, it was like the away fans. So when I was watching them in Sheffield, it was different because the away fans are like a lot more like supportive of every single player. So they were just like hyping up every single. There was loads of Yap Stammer songs, and
Yeah.
you know the fans are going crazy. But no, unfortunately, we're not going to get anyone like that. But we're going to have to finish, wrap up. JR, thanks for getting on, and Cody, thanks for getting on as well. And
My pleasure.
Gone. Big up to Neil, big up to Bilal, who came on earlier as well. Always good to get you guys on. I'll try and do more calling shows. Maybe I'll do it a bit later when people are available. Maybe that'll be a better time, but we'll try and do something midweek if something happens. I'm going to try and dodge any World Cup matches as well over the next few weeks. I'm not sure. Yeah, G-Wolf is like, I don't know where he is, to be honest, but I'll speak to him backstage. But thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel, and we'll be back again tomorrow morning. Till then, guys, take it easy.